Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Netizen, my big one, that's F asterisk 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 G terrifying. That ghost, already soaked beyond recognition, actually emerged from a person's shadow and killed the unsuspecting survivor. It's so horrifying, how can we even play like this? Netizen, Sakuragi Rin, the rules are evolving over time and the demon's abilities are being unleashed. After 30 minutes, this demon can even move within a person's shadow. It's just unknown how long the interval is between each use of its ability. Netizen, no lighter, the person upstairs is really clear-headed. Is the first level really that difficult? What's the way out? Are all these survivors going to be wiped out in the first level? Announcement: Nina from Siam, player number 7, has been found by the ghost and is eliminated. The ghost is located on the 5th floor. Announcement: Contestant number 9, Le Mongols from Annam, has been found by the ghost and eliminated. The ghost's location is on the 7th floor. Ow woo, how come 2 people died all at once and the interval between them was so short? Meow, the black cat Ali's face was filled with unease. I don't know, maybe the ghost used some kind of magical power, Ow woo said thoughtfully. Ow woo, be careful of your shadow, meow. The black cat Ali seemed to have seen something extremely terrifying. Its fur stood on end, fluffing up like a ball of fur before it quickly disappeared onto Ow Woo's shoulder. At the same time, a threatening growl from a feline came from Ow Woo's mouth. His eyes also turned into eerie vertical pupils, and with a sudden exertion of his limbs, his figure vanished from the spot. The rotting monster that emerged from the shadows, its unbelievably wide-open maw of fangs, snapped into the air. Click! The clash of fangs and teeth produced a metallic clang. The monster, resembling a drowned ghost, let out a piercing laugh, then chased after Ow Woo at an incredible speed. Netizen Z, those eerie vertical pupils, those agile beast-like movements. That's my idol, the Grand Magus Ow Woo. I'm so excited I can finally see his lithe figure again. In front of the computer, a thin young man stared with fanaticism at Ow Woo, who was fleeing frantically. He looked like an extremely fervent fan. Netizen, Fengshen, he must have obtained a tool that allows him to conceal his identity. According to rumors on the dark web, he single-handedly broke through the encirclement of assassins from various countries and disappeared without a trace. I must say, it's truly, truly remarkable. Netizen, Shunzi, why are you all praising him? He's being chased by ghosts and looks pathetic. He might die any minute now. Netizen Fairy descending to Earth, found a hater, sisters, don't let him get away with this. At this moment, the topic of Ow Woo was being hotly discussed in the Rules of Strange Tales live stream room. Not only them, but also various countries were focusing their attention on this man who was constantly running for his life. At this moment, Ow Woo was unaware that he was about to face another terrifying threat. The rotting corpse, soaked in water, floated in midair, rapidly chasing after Ow Woo along the corridor. But before he could reach the end of the corridor, his body seemed to be sliced in two by something sharp. This didn't cause the drowned ghost any serious damage. Its rotting body turned into a wisp of black mist, which then reformed into the terrifying drowned ghost. This time, however, it was much slower. But the grotesque threads that had torn the drowned ghost's body disappeared upon contact with it. It turned out that Ow Woo had pinned the ghostly threads to the corridor walls to stop the drowned ghost's pursuit, creating transparent and sharp cutting lines. Although it slowed down the drowned ghost's pursuit, the disappearance of the ghostly silk still caused Ow Woo great heartache. Ow Woo, didn't you find a way out? Meow. But I'm not 100% sure the escape route is correct and I don't want to be exposed too early. I originally wanted to use those guys' lives to verify it, but I didn't expect to be targeted so soon. There's someone among them I really want to kill. If she can disappear in this round, that would be perfect. A sinister smile crept across Ow Woo's face. Ow Woo, you've changed. You've become a cunning old fox, a complete and utter scoundrel. Meow, Black Cat Ali stared at him in disbelief. I've always been okay, you just haven't noticed. Ao Wu said with a self-deprecating tone. Black Cat Ali manipulated Ao Wu's body, running for their lives. They finally managed to shake off the terrifying drowning ghost for the time being. Ao Wu hid in a storage room on the 7th floor, panting heavily. Update: on the 11th, Lucas, a survivor from the Degu team, was found by the ghost and eliminated. Latest information: the ghost is on the 8th floor. A cold, ruthless voice echoed in the minds of all the contestants. The survivors are now in dire straits. The three ghosts are attacking them from different floors. Some survivors have also noticed something amiss and have sabotaged all the surveillance cameras in an attempt to buy themselves some time to survive. We haven't even passed level 1 yet and 6 people have already died. Just as Ao Wu was pondering the feasibility of a way out, the door to the storage room was suddenly opened by someone. A slender, delicate hand peeked out from under the door, and its owner tossed something into the storage room. By the bright moonlight, Ao Wu saw a beautiful, dark-style lowly wink at him playfully, then reveal an extremely wicked smile. Oh no, this guy's trying to attract ghosts. By the dim moonlight, Ao Wu could clearly see that it was a mobile phone. Before Ao Wu could rush over and pick up the phone, it started playing a strange musical sound. Using Lost River as your ringtone, Sherry, you're really a pervert. Seeing that he was outmatched, Ao Wu seemed to give up struggling. He didn't pick up the phone on the ground, nor did he accept the Black Cat Ali's request to control his body. He just stood quietly in the room as if waiting for death to come. What are you doing? Ao Wu, run away, are you out of your mind? Meow. The Black Cat Ali was so terrified that it frantically scratched at Ao Wu's hair with its claws, making his once neat hairstyle a mess again. Not long after the phone rang, the drowned ghost, resembling a rotting corpse, emerged from his shadow once more. This terrifying monster grinned evilly as it approached Ao Wu step by step. I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Is this how the legendary life of King Ali ends? I'm not reconciled, meow. The Black Cat Ali sat on Ao Wu's shoulder with a look of despair. Ao Wu, on the other hand, seemed unusually calm, as if he was not afraid of the terrifying drowned ghost at all. The horrifying, rotting hands of the drowned ghost slowly touched Ao Wu's body, who offered no resistance. Announcement: survivors. The drowned ghost's pale, swollen fingers were about to touch Ao Wu's body. The Black Cat Ali seemed to have completely resigned herself to her fate and closed her eyes in despair. But those terrifying ghostly hands didn't take Ao Wu's life. Instead, they took his name tag from his chest. The drowned ghost, soaking wet, opened his swollen, rotting eyes, looked at the old work badge in his hand, then at Ao Wu, whose expression remained calm, a hint of resentment appearing on his face before disappearing from the spot. Grand Magister Ao Wu, a terrifying being who cleared the rules of the strange tales twice, still fell into my hands. Ao Wu, you're nothing special after all. Sherry, dressed in a dark Gothic Lolita-style dress, wore a smug smile. Announcement: on the 13th, Chen Ran was found by the ghost and eliminated. The ghost is currently located on the 7th floor. What's going on? Who is Chen Ran? Shouldn't it be Ao Wu? What's happening? Why isn't the dead person Ao Wu? Could he be using a fake name? That shouldn't be the case. Even if he were using a fake name, a ghost wouldn't admit it. Could it be a work badge? Are they those 8 empty workstations? Sherry, with her hair in pigtails, showed a look of shock on her face. If he simply took the name tags from those 8 empty workstations out of caution, that's fine, but if not, did he plan this all along? Did he already have a rough idea of the game's rules before it even started? If so, then he's truly terrifying. Shirley felt a chill run through her body in that instant. She couldn't seem to see through that somewhat neurotic man, and now just thinking about his murderous gaze made her body tremble involuntarily. Netizen Tamamonomi, this is unbelievable. Why didn't that terrifying drowned ghost kill him? Why did everyone else die? Did Ao Wu cheat some kind of magic? Netizen Dean Chen, this is related to the work badges of the deceased employees he collected at the beginning. It must be said that his observation is very meticulous and his mind is very thorough. Netizen Milk, is he committing murder? He took the work badges of those 8 deceased employees. Why didn't he share them with the survivors to help everyone get through this together? Netizen dark gray, let me guess bro, your name is Chengxiang and your mother is the third holy mother. Netizen, General Rain, milk, take your ID card, buy a high-speed train ticket and your nucleic acid test report. Go to a place called Leshan in Sichuan, there's a big Buddha there, tell it to get up and sit down. At this moment, the global live stream of the strange rules of the game was in an uproar, with many outsiders holding their breath for the survivors. The members of the Daxia Special Affairs Bureau breathed a sigh of relief and deleted a comment they had already edited. Ao Wu, what exactly happened? Why didn't that drowned ghost kill you? Meow, the black cat Ali who had survived the ordeal slumped onto Ao Wu's shoulder, wiping away non-existent cold sweat from her forehead. Where should I even begin? Ao Wu found a comfortable spot to sit down, scratched his head, and seemed to be thinking about where to begin. Where to begin? Let's start with the anomalies of this Rules of the Past event. From the very beginning, they didn't disclose our country or names, which is very different from the previous 2 times. I immediately thought this can't be meaningless. Then there's the issue of searching the developer logs. Why are there 20 workstations for 12 contestants? You know, Rules of the Past never does anything meaningless. If they wanted to tell us the rules, they could have just published them directly. Why make it into a developer game log format, then hide it under the table, making us waste time searching for it? Ao Wu looked at the black cat Ali on his shoulder with a half-smile. Ali, having somehow acquired a hat, struck a pose like Detective Conan, extending its paw and coldly saying, "The cunning frog keeps touching your stomach, there's only one truth." The creator of this rule-based mystery is trying to distract us. The extremely short timeframe and the rules we need to find make us overlook those 8 extra workstations, thus obscuring the real path to survival. In other words, you took the name tags of deceased employees from those 8 empty seats and replaced them with your own. But isn't that too risky? How can you be sure this path to survival is real? Ao Wu smiled dismissively. We need to start with the rules in the game's developer log. Playing hide-and-seek with ghosts is inherently an unequal game. The rules don't mention our names, so where do the names the ghosts report after catching and eliminating us come from? They come from our work badges. We can deduce this from rule number 4. In other words, the work badge represents your identity. The ghost is actually looking for this work badge. It will kill the owner of the name on the badge. But what if the owner of this work badge is already dead or disappeared? Then wouldn't we be considered to have exploited a bug? And we've just followed the rules of a hide-and-seek game. The ghost finds the player and the player is eliminated by name. The person it found is Chen Ran, the one on my work badge. It should be killing this guy named Chen Ran. By the way, Chen Ran was once a player in this game too. As for me, I've essentially vanished. Even ghosts can't find me. Completely outside the rules of this game, theoretically I'm in an invincible position. Wonderful, as expected of my apprentice Black Cat Ali. Meow, the Black Cat Ali patted Ao Wu's head and said with a proud look. Even though I've taken all the name tags from those 8 workstations, they still have a way to make a living. A strange smile appeared on Ao Wu's face. What way out? The Black Cat Ali looked at Ao Wu with a puzzled expression. Go and cheat, steal other people's jobs, and let others die in your place. Ao Wu spoke slowly. Upon hearing this, the Black Cat Ali's expression changed. Is there really no other way to survive? Meow, of course there is. This is just a hidden escape route. Actually, there's another escape route derived from the rules, but I'm not sure if it's safe, although someone has already tried it. Ao Wu looked meaningfully at the ventilation vent above his head. Stop keeping me in suspense, just tell me already. Meow, Black Cat Ali deeply resented his suspenseful behavior. According to rules 1 and 2, this hiding place must be inside a building and it cannot be a dead end. It must be a place where one can advance or retreat. Rule 2 is incorrect, so this escape route must also be completely dark because light creates shadows. Ghosts can teleport and change position within a person's shadow to track the survivor. This place also needs to meet Rule 5. It must be a room away from red and black doors, able to avoid the ghost's detection. Furthermore, it must be out of the reach of surveillance cameras. It must also be a place where most people can hide, and it must be spacious enough for people to pass through. The only place that meets these conditions is the ventilation ducts of this building. That person hiding in the ventilation duct, they're pretty clever. They managed to plan a viable escape route in such a short time, perfectly avoiding the surveillance camera and everyone else. Quite the wolf in sheep's clothing, meow. Black Cat Ali suddenly showed great interest in the person hiding in the ventilation duct. There are always people more capable than you, and there's always something beyond your understanding. Never underestimate any opponent. In this game, we've already faced the dark, lowly Sherry, the mysterious figure hiding in the ventilation ducts, and several others who haven't been eliminated yet, lurking in the shadows. We're not only facing vicious and ruthless ghosts, but also cunning and treacherous individuals. Ao Wu's expression gradually became serious. He stood up, straightened his collar, and walked towards the door of the storage room. Netizen Hezi, someone has already passed the first level. It's our Japanese lady Shizuka Sato, the Huxia Grand Magister. Ao Wu isn't all that great after all. Netizen Sha Po Lang, it was clearly Grand Magus Ao Wu who was the first to clear the level, he just didn't leave that room. Netizen Kangaro, what kind of Grand Mage is he? He's just an old pervert. How can he compare to a cool, mature, bespectacled woman? I like this kind the most. Netizen Wind, the person upstairs is confirmed to be a perverted old lecher. The global livestream of Rules of the Strange was in an uproar, and Suki, after seeing the comments, was furious. She said to a handsome, top-tier hacker, Wu Tianming, find this for me, Kangoro's address. Sister Su, he's on Zhengwen Road in Shanghai. With permission to use the address, she took out her phone and called her best friend. Suki, what are you doing? Lin Bufin looked at Suki with a puzzled expression. I've already asked my best friend to go through the internet and beat him up. Lin Bufin, we've already passed all the checks, so what are you going to do? Can't you just stay put for a while? Meow. Don't forget, I'm famous for rowing without oars, relying entirely on the waves. Now my existence is a bug. The roles of hunter and prey have been reversed. That Sherry, it's time to teach her a lesson in blood. Ao Wu placed his hand on the doorknob, paused for a moment, and then said. Seeing that Ao Wu was about to go out and have fun again, the Black Cat Ali was not happy at all. It kept nagging in Ao Wu's ear, trying to use its unique mental attack to make him give up this unrealistic idea. But Ali was destined to be disappointed. Once Ao Wu made up his mind to do something, he would never change it easily. Ao Wu opened the door to the storage room and walked out resolutely. Surprisingly, the door led not to the corridor of that dilapidated building but to a somewhat eerie ancient gambling den. The den was bustling with activity, clearly the center of a lively gambling game. Holy crap, this game tricked me. Upon appearing in the new scene, Ao Wu cursed under his breath in exasperation. With Ao Wu's sudden appearance, all the gamblers and dealers in the gambling den fixed their strange gazes on him. Ao Wu, what's going on? These people's expressions are terrifying, meow. At this moment, the trembling Black Cat Ali clung to his shoulders with its two paws and hid behind Ao Wu. This damn death game, to prevent me from exploiting loopholes in the rules to harm other survivors, they teleported me to the second level. Despite being stared at by so many strange eyes, Ao Wu showed no fear whatsoever. He calmly sat on the ground by the door, completely ignoring the murderous glares from the game NPCs. Ao Wu knew that the group wasn't complete and the game hadn't officially started yet. These terrifying guys could only intimidate him. Conversely, making any rash moves now could trigger certain instant death flags, which would be counterproductive. Bored, Ao Wu began to observe the four sides of the gambling den. It was a gambling den resembling ancient Huxia architecture, exquisitely decorated. But what surprised him was that the carvings used to decorate the walls of the gambling den looked like a strange eye. Not only on the walls, but also on some tables, chairs, and even gambling equipment, this pattern is subtly carved. What exactly is this eye-like pattern suggesting? Ao Wu rested his chin on his hand, lost in thought for a moment. There were all sorts of gambling games inside, many of which Ao Wu had never even heard of, let alone seen. Ao Wu stood up and walked into the gambling den to observe the gamblers and the dealers' operations. At that moment, a familiar figure appeared before him. It was that aloof, bespectacled older woman from Japan. At this moment, she was moving between the gamblers and the house, observing each game just like Ao Wu, so I wasn't the first person to clear level 1. This woman is interesting. Did she steal someone else's work badge to pass? Indeed, a woman's heart is the most poisonous. Just as Ao Wu was observing this aloof and sophisticated woman, her gaze also fell upon him. The two stared at each other in silence. "Hey, why are you staring at me like that? Let me tell you, don't fall in love with me. Although I'm handsome and dashing, a pheasant can't be matched with a phoenix." To ease the awkwardness, Ao Wu spoke first. "Ao Wu, how can you be so shameless?" "I'm ashamed for you? Seriously, what's so handsome about you? I've followed you for so long and I've never seen anything, meow." Seeing Ao Wu's shamelessness, Black Cat Ali, as usual, began to undermine him. "Why are you everywhere? If you don't see how handsome I am, someone else will, like this beautiful lady in front of me." Ao Wu casually pointed to the aloof, mature woman wearing glasses. "Ha, Puxin man." Upon hearing Ao Wu's words, the aloof, bespectacled woman revealed a disdainful sneer. "Ao Wu, it seems she insulted you, meow." The Black Cat Ali wore a gloating expression. "What do you know? She's praising me. No, she's implying she likes me, the most trustworthy man in the world." Ao Wu said with absolute certainty. Upon hearing Ao Wu's words, the aloof, bespectacled woman nearly vomited blood in anger. She glared fiercely at Ao Wu and gave him a universally recognized hand gesture. "That's top-notch understanding, meow." Even the Black Cat Ali gave him a look of disdain. After making a self-deprecating joke, Ao Wu felt bored. He took out the game development log from his magic pocket and saw that the name of the second level was Linglong Gambling House. He then began to analyze the rules of the second level of the game. Meanwhile, it seems that Shirley, the American prodigy, and Rock, the young black man from Wakanda, have reached some kind of deal, or perhaps formed some kind of alliance. The two hid in a very secluded library where the curtains were drawn and the lights were off, plunging the place into complete darkness. "Don't worry, Sherry, I'll definitely help you clear this rule-based mystery. Trust me, I'm the smartest man in Wakanda." Locke, a young black man from Wakanda, gently comforted the trembling, dark-skinned little girl, Sherry, in his arms in a very low voice. "Brother Locke, I knew you were the best." Nestled in Locke's arms, Shirley gazed at him with utter adoration through her large, watery eyes. This greatly satisfied Locke's vanity. Just then, heavy footsteps sounded outside the library. The person who made the footsteps then opened the library doors and turned on the lights. "Oh no, it's that terrifying security guard. How did he find this place? It shouldn't be like this. I haven't broken a single rule. How did he pinpoint my location in such a huge building?" The young black man, Locke, trembled with fear. His clothes were soaked with cold sweat from shock and emitted an unpleasant odor. A look of disgust flashed across Shirley's face as she held him, but it quickly vanished. "What do we do now, Brother Locke?" The dark-skinned, lowly Shirley looked pitifully at the black guy. "Locke, I'm here, don't be afraid." Locke gently comforted Shirley, who was on the verge of tears, but Shirley was unaware that his eyes, which had been filled with desire, suddenly turned malevolent. Just as the security guard was about to reach the bookshelf where they were hiding, Locke suddenly pushed Sherry out of his arms. Then, he turned and fled through the library's back door at lightning speed. A panicked Shirley suddenly appeared in front of the security guard, whose eyes were filled with icy killing intent. "Heh, men, not a single one of them is any good." The panic on Shirley's face vanished abruptly, replaced by a wicked smile. She glanced at Locke, who was fleeing in a disheveled state, then hung a work badge around her neck. The terrifying security guard slowly extended his deathly pale hand toward Sherry, but Sherry showed no fear and calmly looked at him. Meanwhile, Locke, the young black man who was frantically fleeing, was constantly trying to reassure himself. To survive, nothing is indispensable. If I can get through this bizarre rule-breaking event, tons of beautiful women will throw themselves at me. But what Locke didn't notice was that the corridor lights cast a long shadow of his, and a pale, saturated, bloated and rotting corpse quietly appeared behind him. The terrifying drowned ghost stretched out its rotting, waterlogged hands and grabbed Locke's terrified head. With a shrill scream, blood splattered, staining the corridor walls red. "Report! Survivor number 12, Locke from Wakanda, has been found by the ghost and eliminated. The ghost is currently on floor 13. It's been over an hour, just 15 more minutes and this game of hide-and-seek will be over. A pretty Austrian girl with delicate features and glasses hidden in the ventilation duct thought to herself. Meanwhile, Shirley, a genius girl from the United States, suddenly appeared in the second level of the game, the exquisite casino. At this moment, only 2 players remain in the hide-and-seek game, Nico, an Austrian survivor hiding in the shadows, and Kang Tiwoo, a taekwondo master from Gwangju. Actually, after the announcement that Chen Ran number 13 had been eliminated, Jiang Taeyu had already thought of a way to survive. But he remembered that at that time a Huxia person had taken all the name tags from the 8 empty seats, and he didn't pay attention to it, thus missing his chance to survive. He then tried to steal other people's work badges, but he found that he couldn't find a single living survivor in the entire building, as if he were the only one left. The 3 ghosts chased him relentlessly, leaving him nowhere to run. His living space was reduced to just a few rooms on the second floor. At this moment, he was hiding in a toilet, barely clinging to life. Just when Jiang Taeyu was about to reach a dead end, he suddenly discovered that there was a survivor's corpse in the last stall of the toilet. Amidst the bloodstains and gruesome corpses, a dead survivor's work badge lay scattered on the ground. At that moment, Jiang Taeyu felt that he was blessed by Lady Luck. At the same time, a drowned ghost, its body white and bloated from being submerged, suddenly appeared from his shadow and lunged at Jiang Taeyu. In the nick of time, Jiang Taeyu used his agile skills to leap out and retrieve the deceased's work badge from the blood-stained corpse, but the drowned ghost grabbed his leg and held him upside down. Just when Jiang Taeyu thought he was going to die, the drowned ghost took the work badge of the dead survivor from his hand. Having narrowly escaped death, Jiang Taeyu also appeared at Linglong Gambling House. I wonder if there are any survivors left. Only 1 minute left. Hang in there, I'll pass level 1. Nico kept encouraging herself, but suddenly she heard a clanging sound coming from the ventilation duct behind her, as if something terrifying was rapidly crawling towards her. Damn it, am I the last survivor left in this game? I was so close, I can't die here. Nicole, fighting off her fear, crawled quickly through the ventilation duct. 30 seconds left, I just need to hold on for another 30 seconds. The eerie sound behind her grew closer and closer. Although Nico was already pale with fright, she gritted her teeth and crawled quickly through the ventilation duct. 15 seconds left, oh my god, the ghost is right behind me, not far away. At a bend in a ventilation duct, Nicole saw a terrifying face emerge, pale, swollen, and dripping with sewage. Only 10 seconds left. The terrifying drowned ghost was getting closer and closer to Nico. 5 seconds left, just 5 more seconds and I can live. At that moment, the drowned ghost appeared behind Nico. 3, 2, the drowned ghost's cold, slippery hand gripped Nico's ankle. I don't want to die. With Nico's desperate roar, the countdown reached 0, the terrifying drowned ghost vanished. Nicole lay in the ventilation duct and let out a long sigh of relief. Before she could even savor the joy of surviving the ordeal, she suddenly found herself inside a gambling den with an oriental flair. Level 1, Hide and Seek with the Ghost, has ended. 5 survivors have passed. Ao Wu from Daxia, Sato Shizuka from Japan, Sherry from the United States, Jiang Taeyu from North Korea, and Nico from Austria. The survivors who passed level 1 have all gathered, and the second game level, Linglong Gambling House, has officially begun. After the first level of the game of hide-and-seek with the ghost, the 5 survivors gathered together. The scene was a little awkward, and the most awkward one was Ao Wu, as the other 4 glared at him angrily. Ao Wu, you've incurred the wrath of the masses, do you know that? Look at those murderous eyes of theirs. Let me tell you, you should be more discreet. Are you trying to act like this great king? Meow. Seeing Ao Wu become the target of everyone's criticism, Black Cat couldn't help but tease him. Hey, if you're stupid, fine, but don't pretend to be low-key, okay? Even if I wanted to be low-key, my abilities wouldn't allow it. Ao Wu gently touched his forehead, looking helpless. Ao Wu, you son of a B****ch. Black Cat Ali was quite taken aback by his words and couldn't help but betray him, rolling her eyes at him. Damn it, you despicable B****D, don't think you can get away with playing dumb. You actually took all the name tags for those 8 empty seats. How despicable. I'm going to teach you a lesson today. Kim Tae-woo saw that Ao-woo was talking to the air above his shoulder, completely ignoring the angry stares from the 4 people around him, and he immediately flew into a rage. He rolled up his sleeves, assumed a taekwondo stance, and challenged Ao-woo. Kim Tae-woo hit him. That guy is so insidious and despicable. If everyone had worked together, they might have been able to escape this terrifying death game, but he had to sabotage it. Seeing that someone was targeting Ao-woo, the American dark Gothic-style Lolita couldn't hold back any longer. She kept fanning the flames for Kim Tae-woo, hoping to profit from the conflict between the two. Seeing that he had the support of the pretty Shirley, Kim Tae-woo became even more emboldened. He started cursing at Ao-woo, trying to provoke him. The aloof and sophisticated woman with glasses, Shizuka Sato, frowned but remained silent. Nicole thought for a moment, then grabbed Tae-woo's arm, shook her head at him, and gestured for him not to act rashly. Hey, stop spewing nonsense. When we first heard we were looking for the rules, you all rushed out to your seats, completely ignoring the 8 empty seats. Since they were unclaimed, I took them myself. What's the problem? Absolutely not. Faced with the aggressive group, Ao-woo spoke eloquently and held his own. You despicable B*******D, don't stop me, I'll beat him to death. Having just calmed down, Kim Tae-woo's anger was reignited by Ao-woo's arrogant demeanor. Come and hit me if you dare. I love seeing you hate me but can't do anything about it. Ao-woo made another provocative remark. Kim Tae-woo's eyes blazed with fury. He strode forward and delivered a powerful punch to Ao-woo's chin, but Ao-woo seemed not to see it, standing there unmoved. Strangely, Kim Tae-woo's fist suddenly stopped when it was only 0.1 centimeters away from Ao-woo's chin. The anger in Kim Tae-woo's eyes disappeared and his gaze calmed down. Damn, what a terrifying man. I've gone to such lengths and he still managed to hold back without retaliating. Kim Tae-woo sneered and slowly retreated to the side of the 3. Seeing this, the other 3 didn't seem surprised, as if they had expected it. After all, who among those who survived the first level of the death game is a fool? Acting rashly without knowing the rules greatly increases the chance of being eliminated by them. Just now, Kim Tae-woo was testing Ao-woo, seeing if he could lure him into retaliating and then use the rules to eliminate him. But to his utter surprise, Ao-woo had already seen through his scheme and turned the tables on him. Just as the 5 were scheming and testing each other, a cold, synthetic mechanical voice suddenly rang out. The second level of the game, Exquisite Gambling House, has officially begun. Violence is prohibited in this level. Rule 1, each survivor must choose one item to bet on within 60 minutes and win the game. Rule 2, this casino provides complimentary tea, please drink it only if it is appropriate. Rule 3, each person has 3 chips. Winning 6 chips results in a victory, reaching 0 chips results in elimination. Rule 4, cheating is prohibited, cheating is allowed but not prohibited. Rule 5, casino staff are greedy, if you give them chips they might grant you a small request. Rule 6, the other gamblers are friendly, there's no danger, really not. Rule 7, beware of gamblers without chips. Rule 8, the Linglong Casino has red and blue gaming tables. Please pay attention to the difference as the required chips are different for each. Rule 9, don't stay at one table for too long if you're not going to bet. I also wish all gamblers good luck and swift success. The cold, emotionless synthesized mechanical voice had barely stopped when a beautiful woman in a cheongsam walked towards the crowd carrying a tray. On the tray were 5 stacks of chips, 3 chips in each stack. They're called chips, but they're actually ancient copper coins. However, they're not coins from any particular dynasty. These coins are engraved with strange patterns that resemble eyes, and the square hole in the center looks like the pupil of an eye. The rosewood tray was exquisitely crafted, and it was also carved with eye-like patterns. The woman in the cheongsam distributed the chips to 5 people, then swayed and disappeared into the crowd. At this moment, the 5 men looked at the 3 copper coin-shaped chips in their hands and fell into deep thought. Clearly, the strange, eye-like carvings caught their attention. What exactly does this eerie eye carving represent? It not only perplexes every survivor present but also leaves viewers watching the live stream of the strange and unusual rules completely baffled. Seeing the countdown clock on the wall of the Linglong casino, some people couldn't contain themselves and began to take action. The two were still analyzing the rules while Ao Wu, Saito Shizuka and Sherry wandered around the casino, observing the gamblers and betting tables and analyzing the various betting methods. Ao Wu, after you analyzed the rules in the first level, you've been wandering around here. You've been here for about half an hour now. Have you figured anything out yet? Meow. While watching the casino dealer and the gamblers with a bored expression, the black cat Ali spoke to Ao Wu. I can see that, but why should I tell you? You just betrayed me? Ao Wu looked at the somewhat guilty black cat Ali with a mocking expression. What are you saying? What are you saying? What kind of talk is that? I'm only in Cao Cao's camp with my heart in hand, preparing to infiltrate and gather intelligence for you. Meow! As the black cat Ali spoke, it shook its head, looking utterly heartbroken. All right, I'm done arguing with you. I still need to verify the rules. After saying that, Ao Wu stopped teasing it and began to analyze the rules. First, according to Rule 1, this second level, the exquisite gambling house has a time limit. You need to complete the task within half an hour. Ao Wu held up one finger and said to himself, and secondly, can you stop keeping me in suspense? Meow. Black Cat Ali deeply resented his suspenseful behavior. Just as Ao Wu was about to continue speaking, a frenzied, excited howl caught his attention, and even the lights in the gambling den turned blood red. Ao Wu looked ahead and saw a group of gamblers, seemingly insane, surrounding a red gambling table, howling excitedly. Their contorted, crazed faces instilled a deep sense of fear in anyone who saw them. Ao Wu, have you noticed? These gamblers are all walking on tiptoe. It's really weird. Meow. Seeing their strange way of walking, a hint of unease appeared in the eyes of the black cat, Ali. Before the game started, they were walking normally. Seeing this, even the audacious Ao Wu couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. Never mind, let's go see what they're doing. Ao Wu steadied himself and walked towards the red gambling table. The others seemed to have the same idea as Ao Wu, and they followed one after another. Upon seeing the arrival of the 5 men, the gamblers, who had been flushed and excitedly shouting, suddenly fell silent. With stiff smiles, they unanimously made way for the 5. The 5 people who witnessed this scene felt a chill run down their spines. But they still mustered their courage and walked to the front of the red gambling table. The scene before them was extremely gruesome, causing everyone to turn pale and exclaim in horror. This red gambling table is a place for betting on dice, but the betting area is littered with human remains. It was a man's corpse with 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, and a head. Crimson blood was still dripping from the mangled wounds on the gambling table, and the pungent smell of blood assaulted the senses of everyone present. Sir, you've lost. We'll accept your bet. The bald, scarred, burly man who was running the gambling den grinned maliciously. Then, he used an iron rake to scoop up the bloodied pieces of the corpse. Just as the 5 people were watching with trepidation, the head with its glaring eyes suddenly uttered a chillingly cold sentence. A bet's a bet, an ancient law. You lot must all abide by it, haha. After finishing speaking of the mangled, bloody head, he let out a strange laugh. Dear guest, would you like to place a bet? The kind where you risk your life. The bald, burly man who was in charge of the betting swept his cold, ruthless gaze back and forth among the 5 people. Place a bet, place a bet, place a bet. The frenzied gamblers around them, their chaotic voices began to become unified, like a demonic chant piercing their ears, blurring their consciousness and making them unconsciously want to shout out the word bet. Ao Wu, wake up, don't let those guys corrupt you. Stay true to yourself, meow. The anxious voice of the black cat, Ali, reached Ao Wu's ears. Ali, stop hitting me, your face is all swollen from all the slaps. Ao Wu's spirits lifted and his vision instantly cleared. Then, he took out a bottle of moonlight coffee from his magic pocket, tilted his head back and drank it down, clearing away all the negative effects. Sorry, it's not time to gamble with my life yet, I'll come back when the time is right. Ao Wu's loud voice was like a wake-up call for the group. They all regained their senses and withdrew their hands that were about to place bets. The bald, scarred, burly man who was in charge of the betting glared fiercely at Ao Wu as if he wanted to devour him whole. But Ao Wu was not afraid at all and turned to leave. The crazed gamblers blocked his way, but Ao Wu didn't tolerate their behavior at all. He stepped forward and immediately launched 2 powerful punches. "Are you trying to break the rules of the game?" Ao Wu said sternly. Upon hearing the word rules, a hint of fear crossed the faces of the fanatical gamblers. They slowly parted to the sides, creating a path. However, they still glared at Ao Wu with venomous eyes. Ao Wu calmly walked out, followed closely by the other 4. Netizen Faith, oh my god, that terrifying scene just now almost scared me to death. How did this mysterious Huxia person manage to remain so calm? Netizen Third Prince, unfortunately I'm uncultured, all I can say is holy crap, Grand Magister awesome. Netizen 7, they broke the rules and were almost corrupted by those eerie beings, it's truly terrifying. Not only the viewers of the global live stream of Strange Tales of Rules, but also Su Qi, Lin Bufan and Director Wang were all on edge for Ao Wu. Fortunately, he pulled back from the brink and escaped danger. That was close, just 1 step away. We were about to gamble our lives with those cunning ghosts. I have to admit, this guy named Ao Wu is quite capable. No wonder he's a ruthless individual who's cleared 2 rounds of the rule-based mystery tales. Still shaken, the aloof and sophisticated Sato Shizuka adjusted her glasses and glanced at Ao Wu, who was observing the gamblers out of the corner of her eye. This deadly danger is truly exhilarating. And Ao Wu, that man who always manages to surprise us, you've successfully piqued my interest. Sherry, her face flushed, stole a lewd glance at Ao Wu. Ao Wu, as expected of the man I chose as my opponent. Although he's a bit eccentric, he's definitely got something. However, Jin Taeyu will not easily admit defeat. Kim Tae-woo clenched his fists, his eyes filled with fighting spirit. That man, though plain-looking and seemingly mentally unstable, possessed a certain fatal attraction. Nicole, wearing round-framed glasses, had an unusual glint in her eyes. Ao Wu, that gambling table wasn't red at all, it was stained red with blood. No wonder we didn't find a red table earlier. Turns out it was waiting for us here. There's a trap in Rule 8, meow, the Black Cat Ali said indignantly to Ao Wu. It's perfectly normal for the rules to have traps. This time it's my fault, I was a bit careless. I almost capsized in the gutter and dragged you down with me. Ao Wu said apologetically to Ali, the black cat on his shoulder. You know that's good, but you'd better make it up to me properly, meow. Black Cat Ali crossed her arms, turned her head away with a haughty air and ignored Ao Wu. This wasn't a complete loss. First, we confirmed the location of the red gambling table. Second, the red gambling table is prepared for risking one's life. Third, if I run out of chips, the red gambling table is my last resort. At that point I'll have to burn my bridges and risk my life. Ao Wu stared at the blood-red gambling table and muttered to himself thoughtfully. Ao Wu, you said the red gambling table is a place where there's no way out, a place to burn your bridges. Why do you say that? Meow. The little black cat, Ali, had big questions in its eyes. Ali, observe carefully. What kind of gamblers are surrounding the red gambling table? Ao Wu pointed to the gamblers who looked like madmen surrounding the red gambling table and said to the black cat, Ali. They're all addicted gamblers trying to recoup their losses. The only difference is that some of them don't have chips and are betting with their bodies while others have chips and are just watching the show, meow. Black Cat Ali glanced at the strange gamblers gathered around the red gambling table, scratched his head and said, This illustrates that even without chips there's a chance to turn things around. If you propose going to the red table to gamble against the house, you can have a chance to turn things around, but whether you can seize that opportunity is another matter. Ao Wu paused for a moment, then spoke again. There are 2 types of gamblers here, those who have chips and those who have lost all their chips and have nothing left. If you want to gamble against someone, try to choose gamblers who have chips, not those who don't. Because the second type of gambler has already lost all their chips, they will gamble with you for their lives. Even if they don't gamble with you for their lives and you win, collecting a bunch of mangled limbs is useless. It will only increase the uncertainty a lot. Oh, I see. A look of sudden realization appeared on the face of the black cat, Ali. Just as Ao Wu was analyzing the rules to himself, the other four people who were wandering around the Linglong gambling house suddenly gathered together. Among them, Sherry, the American girl with a dark Gothic Lolita style, was talking animatedly to the other three. Anyone who didn't know better would think she was a spiritual lecturer trying to manipulate them. The other three listened to Shirley's impassioned speech, nodding repeatedly and occasionally glancing at the gamblers and Ao Wu in the gambling den. Something's not right with these guys. Are they planning to beat the game by killing each other? Looking at the four people gathered together, Ao Wu frowned. What are you thinking about, Ao Wu? What do you think of these rules? There are several contradictory rules here, so there must be quite a few traps. Meow. Seeing Ao Wu's furrowed brows, the black cat Ali couldn't help but feel a little worried. I wasn't thinking about anything, Ao Wu answered absent-mindedly. Hey buddy, I've seen you standing here for ages, why don't you come and play a couple of rounds? A middle-aged man wearing a melon-shaped hat and with a friendly smile spoke to Ao Wu, who was somewhat distracted. This middle-aged man is the bookmaker at the blue gambling table. Don't be fooled by his kind smile. Ao Wu knows he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, the kind that eats people alive. No rush, let me take another look. Ao Wu waved his hand dismissively. Young man, time's almost up, you can't escape it, why not give it your all? The middle-aged man wearing the melon-shaped hat still had a smile on his face, but that smile had a sinister and cunning edge to it. HMPH, I know you don't need to remind me. Ao Wu snorted coldly, his face showing a chill. Young man, I didn't mean anything by it, I just wanted to remind you. The middle-aged man wearing a melon-shaped hat shrugged indifferently. Ao Wu ignored him and just kept muttering to himself. Rule 2, the tea can cure mental pollution. Rule 3, there are several possibilities. 1, you can gamble against the dealer in the gambling den. 2, you can gamble against other gamblers who have chips. 3, survivors can gamble against each other. This is also the simplest way to pass the level. Shall we kill each other? Should the losers try their luck at the red main stage? Rule 4, cheating is prohibited. This depends on how you interpret it. Ao Wu stared blankly at the coin-spinning gambling game in front of him. The game involves placing 3 upside-down bowls on a gambling table with a coin placed inside one of them. The dealer then frantically swaps the bowls with lightning-fast reflexes, and the gamblers bet on which bowl the coin is in. Guessing correctly wins. The saying 9 out of 10 gamblers lose holds true both in ancient and modern times. Gamblers who bet against the house almost always lose more than they win, and soon their chips are all gone. Many gamblers who have experienced extreme highs and lows after losing all their chips dejectedly walk to the red gambling table and sell their body parts. Several times, Ao Wu clearly saw the copper coins in the middle bowl, but after lifting it, they appeared on the left side where the fewest people had placed bets. Those strange gamblers were furious, but there was nothing they could do. Ao Wu simply didn't believe that the dealers at Linglong Casino didn't use technology and ruthless tactics. These ghosts' eyesight is beyond question, even they were manipulated at will. The bookmakers' cheating methods are so sophisticated that even the gods and ghosts cannot detect them. This is something Ao Wu can never match. Trying to win by chance is extremely unlikely. If you didn't discover that someone else was cheating, then it proves that they weren't cheating. Therefore, the interpretation of Rule 4 is that cheating is allowed, but you cannot be discovered cheating by anyone or anything. Ao Wu murmured to himself, how can we cheat without being discovered by the ghost? Gambling purely on luck is like handing our lives over to the ghost. Meow. At this moment, the black cat Ali was in despair, and it nervously ruffled Ao Wu's hair again. Could you please stop messing up my hairstyle all the time? After all, I make a living with my hair. Ao Wu arrogantly spat out a mouthful of saliva and meticulously tidied his hair again. What kind of time is this? We're about to die and you still care about your damn hairstyle. Meow. Black Cat Ali was so angry with him that she almost went crazy. Who says you have to gamble with those bookmakers? While the potential winnings are higher, it's also the riskiest. Gambling against customers with chips is the next riskier. Gambling against fellow survivors is the safest option. Seeing Ao Wu's nonchalant demeanor, Black Cat Ali wanted to go up and give him a good beating. Then let's hurry up and find those cannon fodder to gamble with. With your intelligence, you should be able to easily outmaneuver them, meow. Ao Wu shook his head with a wry smile after hearing this. This isn't safe either. After all, who among those who have survived to this day is easy to deal with? There's the cunning and treacherous little girl, the resourceful and aloof older sister, the seemingly rough but actually shrewd taekwondo expert, and the seemingly simple-minded girl next door. Besides, these four have already paired up and are preparing for a betting game, clearly excluding me. I'm left with no choice but to gamble against these strange individuals. Hey, you were just wandering around here, why didn't you go find them and place your bet? You damned Ao Wu, you're driving this great king crazy, meow. The black cat, Ali, was so angry that it almost fainted. It used its paws to grab Ao Wu's head and steady its swaying bow body. Going to them won't do any good, they're determined not to play with me. Maybe it's out of fear, maybe they want to eliminate me as an unstable factor, maybe both, but I'm not necessarily doomed. Ao Wu glanced at the four people who were ready to start the betting game and said calmly, "What method? Tell me quickly, meow." A glimmer of hope returned to the face of the black cat, Ali, which had been filled with despair. Well, that's a secret that can't be revealed. A mysterious smile appeared on Ao Wu's face. What brand of trash bag are you? They can hold so much. Seeing Ao Wu's feigned mystery, the black cat, Ali, was barely able to contain its anger. The only thing I don't understand right now is Rule 5. I'm considering giving a chip to a casino employee to see if he can offer me any help. Seeing that Ao Wu was about to give away one of his only 3 chips in exchange for information that might be a trap, the black cat, Ali, couldn't sit still any longer and quickly spoke up to stop him. We only have 3 chips. You're giving up your precious one for a piece of information whose veracity is uncertain. Is it worth it? If you have a high probability of winning, you don't need to care about this uncertain information. Once we lose this chip, we'll immediately be at a disadvantage. After thinking about it for a moment, Ao Wu also temporarily abandoned the idea. At this moment, Shirley, Saito Shizuka, Choi Ti-woo and Nicole paired up and started a betting game. These few bastards are trying to exploit loopholes in the rules, meow, Black Cat Ali said indignantly. Isn't this rule just forcing us to kill each other? Ao Wu chuckled self-deprecatingly, then walked towards the 4 people. At this moment, Shizuka Saito is facing off against Ti-woo Choi and Sherry is facing off against Nico. Shizuka Saito and Ti-woo Choi were playing rock, paper, scissors. Sherry and Nicole were playing a game of flipping a coin to guess heads or tails. Rock, paper, scissors is a gambling game that relies heavily on observation and psychological strategy. Tossing a coin to guess heads or tails is a gambling game that relies heavily on calculation and observation. Those two, Shizuka and Sherry, are setting a trap for Choi Ti-woo and Nicole. They have an unspoken understanding. They've been eyeing the chips in Choi Ti-woo and Nicole's hands for a long time. A knowing smile appeared on Ao Wu's lips. Ao Wu, what are you doing here? You're not welcome here, please leave. Shirley watched Ao Wu approaching with wariness, afraid he would ruin her plans. You despicable scoundrel, trying to take advantage of us again? Let me tell you, nobody here wants to gamble with you. I'd rather lose to Miss Shizuka than lose to you. This was Choi Ti-woo's last act of defiance. I'm sorry, Mr. Ao Wu, we've already formed a betting pool. I hope you won't interfere. It's not too late to find another way to survive. Wearing round-framed glasses, Nico felt uneasy and unconsciously touched her nose. The aloof and sophisticated Saito Shizuka gave Ao Wu a meaningful look but said nothing. Seeing that the crowd was trying to drive him away, Ao Wu quickly spread his hands to indicate that he meant no harm and just wanted to watch their betting game. But the group didn't buy it and chased him far away. But Ao Wu wasn't angry. Instead, he took out the reconnaissance glasses he had taken from Sherry from his magical pocket and put them on his nose. After putting on these reconnaissance glasses, Ao Wu's eyesight improved several times over, and the movements of Saito Shizuka and the other 3 could not escape his keen eyesight. Mr. Choi Ti-woo, we're playing rock, paper, scissors. After 1, 2, 3, we'll make our moves together to determine the winner. Each round, we'll use 1 chip until one of us has won all of the other's chips. The hidden rule here is you have to accept the consequences, as you've probably guessed. If you violate this rule, you might trigger an instant death flag. The aloof and sophisticated Shizuka Saito adjusted her glasses and spoke calmly. All right, Miss Shizuka, I understand the rules and I, Choi Tiwoo, am not the kind of person who can't accept defeat. Let's settle this once and for all. Choi Tiwoo cracked his knuckles, looking confident of victory. Mr. Choi Tiwoo, shall we begin? The aloof and sophisticated Shizuka Saito began the countdown, with both of them placing their right hands behind their backs. Mr. Choi Tiwoo, psychologically speaking, most men playing rock paper scissors instinctively choose rock first, but you're always meticulous and observant, so you'll probably do the opposite. I bet this time you'll choose paper first while I'm already prepared to choose scissors. Said, Shizuka said, word by word. How is that possible? This woman actually guessed that I wanted to use cloth. Did she study psychology? Since she saw through my choice of paper and suddenly tested me, trying to force me to change my move to rock, even if I don't trust her and still choose paper, then she'll still be invincible the next time she chooses paper. So all I need to do is choose scissors to beat her, and even if I can't beat her, this game will end in a draw. Choi Tiwoo was inwardly shocked, but he didn't show it, maintaining a calm expression. He quickly calculated in his mind and finally decided to play scissors, thus gaining an invincible advantage from the start. Ms. Shizuka, if you're so confident, you could just quietly pull out the scissors. Why bother telling me all this? Saito. Shizuka didn't answer him again, but instead began counting down. 3, 2, 1. Choi Tiwoo is going to lose. He's fallen into Saito Shizuka's psychological manipulation trap. Ao Woo's expression suddenly turned serious. Stop bragging, kid. Rock, paper, scissors, such an uncertain game. How can you so easily tell who will win or lose? Meow. Black Cat Ali thought he was talking nonsense and quickly retorted. As soon as the word was uttered, the two attacked simultaneously. Seeing the result, Choi Tiwoo's expression changed drastically, inwardly exclaiming that it was impossible. In the first round, Saito Shizuka chose rock while Choi Tiwoo chose scissors, and Saito Shizuka won this round. Mr. Choi Tiwoo, I'm sorry, but it seems I've won this round. Hand over the chips. I'm sure you don't want to break the hidden rules. The aloof and sophisticated Saito Shizuka extended her fair hand towards Choi Tiwoo. Damn it, I got tricked by that B***ch. Despite losing the first round, Choi Tiwoo remained largely unfazed. With a dark expression, he placed a strange copper coin representing a chip into Saito Shizuka's hand. Saito Shizuka calmly put away the copper coin representing the stake, then said to Choi Tiwoo, Mr. Choi Tiwoo, are you ready to begin round 2? I might as well tell you this time I'm still going to choose scissors. Damn it, that B***ch is trying to trick me again. Last time she said she was going to play scissors, but she used reverse thinking to outsmart me. Will Saito Shizuka use the same trick and my habitual thinking to win this time? Choi Tiwoo frowned, pondering Saito Shizuka's strategy, and hesitated to say that he was ready. This time, Saito Shizuka did not urge him but waited quietly. Ao Woo, what's that little rascal doing? Is he contemplating his short and tragic life? Meow. Black Cat Ali looked at Kim Tiwoo, who was deep in thought with a gloating expression. He's analyzing the strategy Shizuka Saito might use next. Ao Woo glanced at it and said casually, Ao Woo, who do you think will win this bet? Meow. Black Cat Ali glanced at Kim Tiwoo, who was deep in thought, and then at Saito Shizuka, who looked calm, as if she were facing a difficult choice. In this round, Shizuka Saito has a better chance of winning. She's been subtly influencing Kim Tiwoo, and he's unknowingly fallen into her mental trap. He's probably completely flustered now. Playing rock, paper, scissors, quick, random moves increase the probability of winning, making it harder for the opponent to predict. Ao Woo crossed his arms and secretly observed the battle situation on the other side. Not only Ao Woo, but also the dealer at the red gambling table, the scarred, bald man, was glancing in the direction of the 4 people gambling, seemingly paying close attention to the game. How exciting! 2 more customers are coming to gamble with their lives. The thrill of walking the line between life and death is exhilarating just to think about. The scarred, bald man licked his scarlet lips, revealing a sinister and evil smile. That woman, Shizuka Saito, probably thinks she tricked me last time, so I won't believe she'll play scissors this time. Therefore, the probability of her playing scissors this time is very high, so playing rock this time will guarantee my victory. But is it really that simple? A bad feeling suddenly arose in Kim Ti-woo's heart. That B*****ch is incredibly perceptive. In the real world, she's probably a psychologist or therapist, the kind of people who are masters at manipulating others' minds. If I play rock, will she play paper in return? So my best option this time is still scissors. If she plays paper, I can beat her. If she plays scissors, it's just a draw. Having made up his mind, Kim Ti-woo raised his head and said in a deep voice to Saito Shizuka, Ms. Shizuka Saito, the second round can now begin. All right, as you wish, Mr. Kim Ti-woo. Saito Shizuka's face remained calm and composed, leaving Kim Ti-woo unable to detect the slightest flaw. I believe I will definitely escape this bizarre rule and bring advanced technology back to Jaylee Kingdom. Kim Ti-woo clenched his fists and silently made a vow. 3, 2, 1. As the final countdown ended, Kim Ti-woo and Saito Shizuka made their moves simultaneously again. The result was once again unexpected, with Saito Shizuka winning the round once more. Shizuka Saito still chose rock while Ti-woo Kim still chose scissors. You lost, Mr. Kim Ti-woo. Saito Shizuka slowly walked up to Kim Ti-woo and extended her pale hand. Although there were no extra movements, Kim Ti-woo still felt incredibly pressured. He felt he couldn't see through this mysterious woman before him. No way, what went wrong? How could I lose to her again? I only have one chance left. If I lose again, I might be doomed. At this moment, Kim Ti-woo was under immense psychological pressure and he was gripping his hair with both hands, appearing extremely agitated. In the global live stream of Rules of the Strange, the viewers were not surprised to see Ao Wu being ostracized. Netizen Ao, beasts always roam alone, only sheep flock together, a powerful figure like the Archmage is destined to be lonely. Netizen, electric cannon flying kick. Just thinking about the Grand Magister Ao Wu's upcoming duel with ghosts and monsters makes me incredibly excited. Netizen, Jingjingxiang, the person upstairs is a pervert. What's so interesting about him? The cool and aloof goddess Saito Shizuka is much more interesting. She has both beauty and brains. Hey. Netizen, Yaju Ikaiken, didn't you guys notice? Shizuka has been psychologically manipulating and suggesting things to Kim Ti-woo, putting pressure on him and breaking down his psychological defenses. The more confused he is, the easier it is to predict his next move. He's being led by the nose by Shizuka. Netizen Gao Li Zhan Shen, damn it, what a despicable woman. One should always be honest and straightforward. Inside the Rules of the Strange livestream room, viewers and advisory teams from various countries were constantly analyzing the game's progress and rules. Director Wang, we've deduced a way out. Should we send it to Ao Wu now? Looking anxious, Su-ki arrived at Director Wang's office with a confidential document in his hand. After pondering for a moment, Director Wang slowly said, "Sai, let him go. After all, he's about to gamble against a cheater who can cheat infinitely. Hopefully, he can pull through." Kim Ti-woo reluctantly took out a chip and handed it to Saito Shizuka's fair hand. Just as Kim Ti-woo was feeling lost, a notification appeared in the chat. This woman has been using psychological suggestion and manipulation on you. Don't let her lead you by the nose. It was a notification from a lucky viewer, but I already know that. But this woman seems to be able to read my mind. She can sense everything I'm thinking. Kim Ti-woo kept cursing in his heart. No, I have to pull myself together. I can't let her lead me by the nose anymore. This time I must take her by surprise and win. Kim Ti-woo kept giving himself positive self-talk, and surprisingly it actually worked. He seemed to have regained his confidence. Mr. Kim Ti-woo, what are you dawdling about? Are you scared? Saito Shizuka's tone was very respectful, but Kim Ti-woo felt no respect whatsoever. Goodness, they've even used reverse psychology. They've thoroughly studied the 36 stratagems. A mocking smile appeared on the lips of Ao Wu, a bystander. Ms. Shizuka Saito, the outcome is still uncertain and the result is unknown. Let's begin the third game. I will definitely take back what I've lost tenfold. Kim Ti-woo seemed to have been inspired and became unusually excited. Then I'll certainly look forward to it, Mr. Kim Ti-woo. Oh, right, one last hint. This time I really will use scissors. The usually aloof and cold-blooded Saito Shizuka suddenly flashed a sweet smile at Kim Ti-woo. This radiant smile was like a spring breeze, 100 flowers blooming, captivating and enchanting all who beheld it. Damn it, that be ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* white training uniform couldn't help but swallow hard. However, Kim Tae-woo did not lose his mind because of her beauty, because he knew that the woman in front of him was a venomous snake waiting for its chance to strike. "Damn it, that despicable woman, she's trying to trick me again," she said. "She'll choose scissors next time." Should I believe her? This woman is a complete liar. She's definitely not trustworthy. She says she chooses scissors, but she always chooses rock. The last few times I lost because I overthought things. This time, if I just choose paper, I'm sure I'll beat her. After finishing his internal thought, Kim Tae-woo called Sato Shizuka to begin the final round of the betting. However, something unexpected happened. A staff member from the Linglong Casino, dressed in a long gown, came out of the casino. He said he wanted to witness the two men's bet to prevent anyone from cheating. Because the most basic rule here is that you have to accept the consequences of your bet, and no one can break this rule. The gamblers and the dealer in this exquisite casino are likely all supernatural beings. The two had no reason to refuse nor dared to refuse, so they could only let him do as he pleased. Thinking of this, Sato Shizuka didn't hesitate at all and immediately began counting down. 3, 2 tilde. However, a vague unease crept into Choi Tae-woo's heart and he was suddenly startled. This woman always seems to read my mind, like she has superpowers, able to see through people's hearts. So will she see through my thoughts again this time? If I throw rock, I'll definitely beat her scissors, or at the very least I'll fight her to a draw. Just as the countdown ended, Kim Tae-woo changed his mind again because he remembered the comment that said, "Don't let Sato Shizuka lead you by the nose." This time, I've fallen into the mental trap set by Shizuka Sato again. No, I must break free from this mindset, stick to my original opinion, and play my piece to catch her off guard. This time, I must win. As the countdown ended, Kim Tae-woo and Sato Shizuka made their moves almost simultaneously. "Ao-woo, who do you think will win this time?" "Meow." The black cat Ali sat on Ao-woo's shoulder, tilting its head and looking at him. Kim Tae-woo's defeat is inevitable. From the moment he first received Sato Shizuka's psychological suggestion, he fell into a mental trap. Especially in the final round, his mind went blank, and his eyes and micro-expressions couldn't escape Sato Shizuka's keen observation. So this time, he was destined to lose. Ao-woo smiled slightly, adjusted his reconnaissance glasses, and then spoke. As expected, the outcome of this bet completely shocked and devastated Kim Tae-woo, because he lost again. Kim Tae-woo chose paper this time, and Sato Shizuka actually did just as she said, choosing scissors. Moreover, Sato Shizuka's indifferent attitude made Kim Tae-woo feel she was even more unfathomable. This is impossible. How could I have lost again? How can you predict my thoughts so accurately every time? Do you really have superpowers? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Kim Tae-woo frantically grabbed his hair, muttering to himself incessantly as if he were on the verge of a breakdown. "Mr. Kim Tae-woo, I'm sorry, I won this round again. It's time to hand over the chips." That's what Sato Shizuka said coldly. "No, I can't give it to you. If I do, I'm out. Let's do it again one more time and we'll settle the score together." Kim Tae-woo looked at Sato Shizuka with a pleading expression. Sato Shizuka remained expressionless, but a strange smile played at the corners of her lips. "I'm sorry, Mr. Kim Tae-woo, I can't agree to your request. The bet is over. I won, so I need to move on to the next level. Also, here's a piece of friendly advice. Go to the red gambling table. You still have a chance. Mr. Kim Tae-woo, please abide by the rules of the game or you will bear the consequences." A hoarse voice rang out from the staff member of the exquisite gambling den who was wearing a long gown. At the same time, the person's face gradually became distorted and deformed, with facial features shifting, much like a bizarre creature in a horror movie. Seeing this terrifying scene, the usually composed Kim Tae-woo was so frightened that his legs trembled. But he was a man who had seen his share of storms and his mental fortitude was quite good. otherwise he wouldn't have been able to pass the first level. Kim Tae-woo silently took out his last chip from his pocket and handed it to Saito Shizuka. Contestant number 2, Shizuka Saito from Japan, is the first to collect 6 chips to pass level 2 of the death game, the Exquisite Casino, and advance to level 3. A cold, mechanical voice echoed throughout the Linglong Casino until Shizuka Jadu disappeared within the casino. Before Shizuka disappeared, she winked her left eye at Ao Wu, and a mysterious smile appeared on her lips. You know what? The way the stunningly beautiful and aloof Shizuka winked playfully was incredibly alluring. Even Ao Wu, who had sealed his heart and locked away his love, couldn't help but feel a flutter in his heart. Ali, did you see that? How charming am I? A beautiful girl is giving me the eye. Humph, you still say I'm not handsome? You're so blind. Seeing Ao Wu's smug look, the black cat Ali retorted without mercy. I've seen bound feet, but I've never seen bound heads. Which eye of yours saw her winking at you? That was clearly a provocation, a declaration of war. Fine, if you don't need that eye, donate it to someone in need, meow. You damn jealousy, this is blatant jealousy. But there's nothing I can do about it. Someone as handsome and intelligent as me is never understood by the world. Ao Wu gently touched his forehead, looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle and struck a pose reminiscent of a melancholy little prince. The black cat Ali looked around incredulously. Who peed yellow? Quickly wake him up. Watching Ao Wu chatting happily with thin air, the scarred, burly man at Linglong gambling house revealed a strange look of excitement. This gambler is truly special. 3 souls growing from separate pieces, 3 sources of joy, how exciting. Survivor 6, Kim Tae-woo, has run out of chips and is eliminated. At the same time, the man in the long robe, who had transformed into a bizarre and twisted creature, rushed towards Kim Tae-woo at an extremely fast speed. Kim Tae-woo's body trembled slightly, his face filled with fear as he watched the bizarre and terrifying creature about to tear his head apart with its claws. At that moment, he closed his eyes in fear and desperately roared, "I'm going to the red gambling table to gamble my life against you." The bizarre, twisted long-robe creature froze 1 centimeter from Kim Tae-woo's head the moment he finished speaking. The monstrous creature, whose face was no longer recognizable as human, revealed a sinister smile. "My sir, I think you've made a mistake. The red gambling table isn't betting on life, it's betting on your soul." Upon hearing the eerie and terrifying creature utter the words that the red gambling table was for souls, Kim Tae-woo's expression changed drastically. Not only him, but the other 3 were also pale-faced, as if they had thought of something extremely terrifying. "What do you mean by that?" Kim Tae-woo, mustering his courage, asked in a trembling voice. "What do you mean? Literally, of course. If you lose, not only will you die, but your soul will be imprisoned forever in the Linglong gambling house. Just like me, never to be free, ha ha ha." The terrifying, aberrant creature rested its twisted, ugly face on Kim Tae-woo's shoulder, letting out a piercing laugh. Those few words plunged Kim Tae-woo into an icy abyss. But under the coercion of that terrifying, aberrant creature, he had no choice but to walk straight toward the red gambling table. Upon hearing that failing to complete the game would imprison their souls in the Linglong Casino for eternity, Sherry and Nico became even more determined to escape. Nico and Sherry had already played 2 rounds of betting, each ending in a draw with 1 win and 1 loss. They were playing a coin toss game, taking turns flipping the coin to guess heads or tails, 1 flip per person until they had won all of each other's chips. This time it's Sherry's turn to flip a coin and Nicole has to guess. After glancing at Nicole, Sherry tossed the coin high into the air. The ordinary 1 yuan coin spun continuously in the air before falling rapidly. "Nico, you can't beat me, I'm blessed by Lady Luck." A confident smile appeared on Shirley's pure and beautiful face. Psychological suggestion. "I'm not falling for that." Nico pushed up her round-framed glasses and said dismissively, "Positive or negative?" Sherry stared intently at Nico. "Little b **ch, you probably don't know, but since I was little, my observation and calculation abilities have far surpassed those of ordinary people. For a simple game like guessing heads or tails, I can calculate its trajectory with just 1 glance. Heads or tails are obvious." Nicole was secretly pleased, but she didn't show it on her face. She simply said in a deep voice, "Front, a positive sign, hee hee, the moment to witness a miracle has arrived." Shirley quickly caught the coin and pressed it onto the back of her hand. Sherry slowly raised her hand, but the result caught Nico off guard. "How could it be the reverse side? How is that possible?" Nicole looked surprised, clearly finding it hard to believe that she had misjudged the situation. "What? How could that be? Didn't you just lose too?" "Don't make a fuss, a bet's a bet, give me the chips." Sherry raised her chin and extended her hand to Nico with a hint of smugness. Nicole, her face grim, handed over one of her chips. "All right, it's my turn to toss in the second round." "You guess, okay, here you go, I'm ready, let's begin." Sherry tossed the coin to Nico, who caught it and then quickly tossed it into the air. The coin spun in the air before being caught by the back of Nico's hand as it fell. "For or against?" Nicole covered the coin on the back of her hand and said coldly to Sherry. Sherry gave Nico a sly smile. On the other hand, Nico's expression changed drastically after hearing Sherry say the word the opposite. "Open it, what are you standing there for? Don't try anything funny, I've been watching you." Sherry stared intently at Nico. Nico slowly moved her hand away. The coin had indeed landed tails. "Give me the chips." Sherry beckoned to Nico. Nico, expressionless and lost in thought, casually tossed the chip to Sherry. "Ow woo, did you notice anything? How did that little girl with the dark gothic style suddenly win 2 games in a row, meow?" The black cat Ali stood up straight, using its paws to shade its eyes as it gazed at the two people's betting game from afar. "Ali, am I handsome?" Ow woo didn't answer the black cat Ali's question. Instead, he asked it if he was handsome. "You're handsome, my foot," Black Cat Ali retorted angrily. "Then I won't tell you." Ao Wu straightened his face, looking like he would rather die than tell. "You damn guy, you're handsome, okay?" Left with no other choice, the Black Cat Ali gave a very perfunctory reply. Ao Wu nodded as if he had received great satisfaction. "Since you've asked so sincerely, I'll mercifully tell you. First, let's talk about the first round." After Sherry tossed the coin before it landed, she provoked Nico, distracting her. Meanwhile, her hand, which was resting below, subtly shifted the coin's position. And the instant she caught the coin before it fully landed on the back of her hand, she almost imperceptibly ran her palm across the edge of the coin, causing it to spin an extra turn, changing from heads to tails. She cheated, but not completely. The Black Cat Ali nodded as if it understood, then asked, "Why do you say that, meow?" The coin toss is played after it falls, and Sherry didn't make any extra movements afterward. Nico guessed wrong, and her loss wasn't unjustified. She was too confident in her abilities. Ao Wu shrugged and said, "And what about the second round? How did Sherry guess that Nico's coin toss was tails? Was it just luck? Was she just confused, or was Lady Luck really on her side?" The Black Cat Ali became increasingly horrified as it spoke, and it unconsciously covered its mouth with its paw. Ao Wu slapped the Black Cat Ali hard, making its eyes roll back in its head. "You stupid cat, what nonsense are you spouting? You have to believe in science." Actually, with good eyesight, strong observation, and calculation skills, you can calculate the trajectory of a coin's fall and thus determine whether it's heads or tails. So in the second round, when Nico flipped the coin, she used the same trick on her. "How should I put it, meow? Ali, have you noticed? Nicole tosses the coin really high. What's wrong? Tell me quickly or I'll gouge your eyes out." Meow, the Black Cat Ali extended its sharp claws and assumed a meow punch stance. Nico tossed the coin really high, and Sherry is quite short, so she had to look up to see. In the brief moment when she looked up and then down, her vision was momentarily obscured. And Nico did something sneaky. The instant the coin fell, Nico's right hand moved upwards, briefly obscuring Sherry's view as it passed the back of her left hand. In those few milliseconds of blocking her vision, Nico subtly shifted her hand upwards, altering the coin's landing point. And just as she lowered her right hand to cover the coin, she almost imperceptibly returned it to its original position. The coin, which had been heads, was now tails. But little did she know, Sherry had seen through her little trick. At this point, Ao Wu couldn't help but admire Shirley's keen observation skills. "Ao Wu, what you said makes some sense. Now I'll give you a chance. Predict who will win the third round, meow." The Black Cat Ali patted Ao Wu's head, seemingly as encouragement, yet also as a threat. Sherry has won 2 matches in a row and is riding high, putting pressure on Nico now. After all, Sherry is someone who passed the rules of the strange test. Her cunning and ruthlessness are beyond your imagination. If you ask me, it's a 30-70 split. Sherry has a 70% chance of winning this round, while Nico only has a 30% chance. Ao Wu used both hands, one to gesture the number 3 and the other to gesture the number 7. Netizen, you seem stupid. Sherry and Nico are both cunning and scheming, always plotting against each other, but the more I watch, the more I like them. Netizen, how ye shoots the sun, the prettier the woman, the more dangerous she is. Listen to me upstairs, these 2 women are too complicated, you can't handle them. Leave them to Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei's nickname is Electric Water Pump. Netizen, Yiku, brothers, let's storm the rules of the uncanny, brutally defeat the Grand Magus, capture Shizuka, Sherry, and Nico. Netizen, Nike, bro, how many dishes did you have? You're so drunk. Netizen, Jingguo Shens, brother, I'm afraid you'll enter the rules of the strange tales and get killed before you even see these people. At this moment, viewers were frantically spamming the chat in the global live stream of Rules of the Strange. This Ao Wu, the staff team has already sent him information on how to survive. Why hasn't he started the game yet? As time ticked by, he was frantic, like an ant on a hot pan with no permission from the Special Affairs Bureau. Don't go any further, you're making me dizzy. Maybe Ao Wu has his own plans. Lin Bufin covered his eyes and said, Nico, are you ready? I'm about to begin, and here's a secret, Nico, I can actually see the future. Sherry wore a sly, excited smile. This scene put Nicole under immense psychological pressure. Stop bluffing, the outcome is still uncertain. Nico bit her lip, her eyes stubborn as she spoke. Seeing Nico's persistence, Sherry wore a disapproving expression. Just as the 2 were about to have their final match to determine the winner, the strange creature in the long robe arrived once again, acting as the referee. Upon seeing the strange and terrifying long-robed creature arrive, both of them showed a hint of tension on their faces. Gentlemen, please begin the final wager, I will be your witness. The bizarrely shaped creature in the long robe grinned menacingly. Sherry steadied herself and said, Nico, I'm starting. Nico didn't speak, she just nodded slightly. Sherry tossed the coin high into the air, the gleaming coin spinning and tumbling. Nicole stared intently at Sherry and the spinning coin. The coin plummeted downwards only to be caught just before landing in Sherry's hand by her right hand. For or against? Sherry looked at Nicole, who was deep in thought with a serious expression. Nico pushed up her round-framed glasses. Surely you actually rigged those 2 coin tosses and catches, didn't you? You took advantage of my confidence, and the instant the coin fell, you shifted your left hand to touch it, altering its trajectory. I didn't expose you last time because I had already lost. If I exposed you, you would be on guard. But this time, I'm going to get my revenge. Upon hearing Nico's words, Sherry's expression changed slightly. Stop talking nonsense, just guess already. All right, I guess it'll be head-on this time. Open it, Sherry, Nico said confidently. Okay, I admit you were absolutely right, but was the coin really heads? A strange smile curved at the corners of Shirley's lips. Then she opened her palm, revealing a coin that was tails. How is this possible? I clearly added the variable you touched, and after precise calculation, it was heads. Why is it tails? Did you cheat? Just moments ago, Nicole was as composed as a rock, but suddenly her emotions began to spiral out of control. She launched into a hysterical accusation at Sherry. I didn't. A bet's a bet, okay? Shirley said calmly. Notary, she cheated. Nicole grabbed the arm of the bizarre creature in the extremely terrifying long robe and shook it. Please briefly describe how she cheated. With a cold face, Chang Shanky shoved Nicole aside and said in a deep voice, as the coin fell, she touched it with the edge of her palm to flip it and change its trajectory. Nicole looked at the strange creature in the long robe with hopeful eyes. Excuse me, ma'am, that was the action before the coin landed and you hadn't chosen heads or tails at that time, therefore your report of cheating is unfounded. The man in the long robe spoke in a sinister tone. All right, Nico, a bet's a bet. Put out your last chip. With your intelligence, you should be able to figure out this isn't a certain death. Go try your luck at the red table. Maybe you can escape this predicament. Hearing what the strange man in the long robe said, Shirley secretly breathed a sigh of relief. "You're lying, you're all in cahoots." Nico was furious and blurted out whatever came to mind. Linglong Gambling House values fairness, impartiality, and transparency above all else. You dare question my impartiality? This is the greatest insult to me, and you will pay the price. Long-robed Qi Xingzhang was utterly enraged. He stretched out his twisted arm, grabbed Nicole by the neck, and was about to tear her head off. The terrifying force made Nico feel suffocated, turning her face red and causing her arms and legs to flail unconsciously in midair. Survivor 8 Nico from Austria has run out of chips and has been eliminated from the game. The cold, unfeeling mechanical voice echoed continuously within the exquisite casino. "I want to go to the red gambling table." Nico managed to squeeze out a few words, but those words seemed to possess some kind of magical power, causing the long-robed oddball who was pulling at Nico's head to stop what he was doing. In the world of rules of the strange, rules are absolute. Even such a powerful and terrifying monster must abide by them. He threw Nico to the ground, leaving her dazed and confused, blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. "Let's go, Miss Nico. I hope you'll watch your words at the red table. That guy isn't as good-natured as me." After saying that, the man in the long robe took the lead and walked towards the red gambling table. Nico wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, stood up with difficulty, and tossed her last chip to Sherry, who was making faces at her. Shirley reached out and caught it, then gave Ao Wu a defiant look. Shirley's body, however, began to show signs of malfunction, with countless snowflake-like spots appearing on it. She glanced at Ao Wu, who hadn't yet participated in any of the betting, and gave a strange smile, then made a throat-slitting gesture with her hand. Seeing this, Nico didn't lose control of her emotions again. Instead, she glared at Sherry and Ao Wu, who was watching the drama unfold with a look of resentment, and then walked slowly toward the red gambling table. As Nico walked towards the red gambling table, the announcement about her abruptly stopped. At the same time, another announcement suddenly began and repeated. Survivor number 10, Sherry from the US, has collected 6 chips. Completing the Linglong Casino game will teleport her to the next level. Holy crap, why are you glaring at me like that? First of all, I didn't provoke any of you, I was just standing in the corner doing nothing. Secondly, I'm just an innocent bystander. Is it even safe to be a bystander these days? I'm getting shot even when I'm just lying down. Ao Wu spread his hands innocently and said to the two of them, with less than half an hour left, Ao Wu turned around and prepared to start his own bet. Having no human opponents left, his only chance to win was to gamble against the ghosts. Ao Wu, that be ***ch, Shirley definitely cheated, but how exactly did she cheat? Can you figure it out? I don't want to lose without knowing why. As Ao Wu and Nico passed each other, Nico grabbed Ao Wu's sleeve and looked at him with pleading eyes. Ao Wu initially didn't want to pay her any attention, but seeing her pitiful eyes, he couldn't help but soften. After all, they were all unfortunate people chosen by the strange rules of the legend. Ao Wu followed Nico to the red gambling table and said to her, "Shirley did cheat. She did slightly adjust the position after tossing the coin to the top, but that was just to mislead you. She caught the coin with her palm the instant it hit the ground, not the back of her hand. Do you know why?" "Ao Wu, if I were Nico, I'd just punch you in the face." Meow, cats are the most curious creatures. It had been wanting to ask for a long time, and when it saw Ao Wu keeping it in suspense again, it retorted angrily without any mercy. Ao Wu, as always, loved to keep things in suspense, but Nicole wasn't angry. She simply asked him quietly, "Why?" "Because there's usually a dent in the palm of a hand and it's fleshy. Even if a coin stands upright, you basically can't notice anything unusual if you cover it with your hand. I think you understand now. The instant the coin falls, she uses her right hand to block your view, quickly catching the coin. At that moment, the coin is upright. Because of the right hand covering it, her palms slightly dents, which you also won't notice. With the coin upright, you can't win whether you guess heads or tails. The initiative is always in her hands. She can choose heads or tails." Ao Wu took out a coin and tossed it into the air, demonstrating to Nico. He quickly caught the coin with his hand the moment it fell, keeping it upright. Because his right hand was covering it, Nicole couldn't see the secret in his palm from her perspective. At the start of the game, a little force is all it takes to turn the coin between heads and tails. Surely, that B***** ch is really cunning. We really got caught off guard this time, but thank you anyway. I can die without regrets. If I win this bet with the ghost and manage to escape alive, I'll be your girlfriend. After saying that, Nico lowered her head shyly. Ao Wu looked at Nico, whose face was flushed with embarrassment, speechless. There's no need for that. It's good that you win. To be honest, I hope you win so I can take the opportunity to see their weaknesses, which will greatly help my next bet. Nico was both embarrassed and angry after hearing this. You straight-laced man. Ali, did you see that? Not only are some beautiful girls throwing themselves at me, but she even called me a total straight man, and you still say I'm not handsome. Ao Wu said smugly to the black cat Ali on his shoulder. I'm speechless. Your thought process is so different from normal people. Where did she praise you? You have such amazing understanding, meow. Black cat Ali was speechless, and at that moment he wished he could go up and punch him twice. A steel-willed straight man, a man with an iron will who forges ahead fearlessly. Ao Wu pointed to himself and said confidently, not only that, Nico also felt an urge to punch someone. Seriously, where did you get the idea that I was praising you? And what's with talking to the air above your shoulder? What's with all that? What's wrong with you? While the group was chatting, the game at the red gambling table had already started. This time it was a game of spinning bowls. This is Kim Ti-woo and Nico's last chance. It's all or nothing. According to Rule 2, after standing at the red gambling table for a while, the three of them ran to the tea service area, drank a cup of tea from the gambling den, and relieved their mental pollution. The dealer at the gambling table placed a copper coin in a bowl, then used the hand speed he had accumulated over 500 years of single life to frantically switch the positions of the three bowls, making them appear like afterimages. A moment later, the scarred, bald, burly man stopped what he was doing. He said to the dumbfounded Kim Ti-woo, Nicole, and Ao Wu, "Gentlemen, please place your bets. Can we both place bets together?" Kim Ti-woo couldn't wait to ask him. Normally, this wasn't allowed, but I'm in a good mood today, so I've made an exception. You only have one chance. If you lose, your souls and bodies will belong to Linglong Gambling House. Furthermore, Linglong Gambling House reserves the right to the final interpretation of this game. The dealer at the red gambling table, the bald, scarred, burly man, touched his large, bald head and said to the group, "Holy crap, you're pretty up-to-date." Ao Wu muttered to himself, "Yes, that increases my win rate even more." Kim Ti-woo was secretly delighted. "This increases my chances of winning." Nicole also looked pleased. Only Ao Wu was there, his brows furrowed, seemingly lost in thought. After thinking for a long time, Kim Ti-woo placed his hand on the bowl on the left. Nico placed her hand on the bowl in the middle. Although the bald, scarred, muscular man's hands moved incredibly fast, Nico trusted her observation and memory. The coin was in the middle bowl. This is my chance to turn the tide. You two can lift the bowl yourselves so you won't accuse me of tampering with it or cheating later. The bald, scarred, burly man extended his arm to the two men, gesturing for them to proceed. Kim Ti-woo looked nervous, his forehead covered in fine beads of sweat. He grabbed the bowl on the left with his right hand and slowly lifted it. No, impossible. Upon seeing the result in the bowl, Kim Ti-woo's pupils suddenly contracted and his face was filled with despair. Because there was nothing in the bowl, he lost again. Nico wasn't surprised that Kim Ti-woo guessed wrong because the coin was in the middle bowl. She was absolutely confident. Thinking of this, Nicole took a deep breath and slowly lifted the lid of the bowl in front of her. The result was unexpected once again. There were no coins in the middle bowl. Nicole's slight smile froze on her face instantly. She pointed at the bald, burly man and roared, "What exactly did you do? That coin should clearly be in the middle of the bowl. Did you cheat?" A sinister grin spread across the scarred, bald, muscular man's face. "Young lady, you can eat anything, but you can't say anything. What evidence do you have that I cheated? You still want to deny it? There are definitely no copper coins in these three bowls." Nico's face was filled with anger. The bald, scarred, burly man reached for the bowl on the far right, picked it up, and a copper coin landed steadily on the gambling table. How is this possible? What on earth is going on? Nico was filled with fear, trembling all over. Not only her, Kim Ti-woo was also pale-faced and drenched in sweat. Gentlemen, a bet is a bet. This is the rule from ancient times to the present. Therefore, your souls and bodies belong to Linglong Gambling House. On behalf of all the staff of Linglong Gambling House, I welcome you two to the company, ha ha ha. The bald, scarred, burly man clapped his hands and let out a strange laugh. The other strange gamblers also became frenzied and excited, howling and roaring wildly. The scene was simply a chaotic dance of demons. The bald, scarred, burly man's laughter abruptly stopped, and the frenzied gamblers around him also fell silent, their eyes fixed on Kim Ti-woo and Nicole. What exactly do you want? Kim Ti-woo mustered his courage and asked. Nothing much, just getting back the chips I won. After the bald, scarred, burly man finished speaking, he extended a rotting, foul-smelling right hand. He gripped the two men's hands tightly. Kim Ti-woo and Nico let out a scream, and their bodies were suddenly torn to pieces as if they had been cut by invisible blades. Seeing this bloody scene, even Ao-woo's expression changed slightly. At this moment, Kim Ti-woo and Nico had been divided into 6 pieces: 2 hands, 2 feet, torso, and head. The two men's contorted, agonizing heads made the red gambling table appear even more bloody and terrifying. What's even more terrifying is that the two don't seem to be dead yet. Their severed heads are still emitting painful screams. Seeing this, the scarred, burly man seemed even more excited. He took out a rake, scooped up the 2 mangled corpses, put them in a basket, and carried them into the inner room of the gambling den. Just 1 minute later, a scene that sent chills down Ao-woo's spine unfolded. Kim Ti-woo and Nico, dressed in long gowns and cheongsams respectively, emerged from the back room of the gambling den, giving Ao-woo an extremely eerie smile. Ao-woo, this is terrifying. Are they trapped in the Linglong Gambling House forever? Meow. The black cat Ali seemed to have foreseen its own future and trembled with fear. Yes, don't worry, trust me, we'll escape from here. A light flickered in Ao-woo's eyes. Ao-woo's words seemed to have some kind of magical power, gradually calming the uneasy heart of the black cat, Ali. Hey bro, wanna play a game? The bald, burly man patted his bald head and looked at Ao-woo with a sinister expression. It's not the right time yet, Ao-woo replied indifferently, then turned and left. Ao-woo, what do we do now? Go to the blue gambling table and gamble with them, or just find any gambler with chips and gamble against them, meow. The black cat Ali stood on his shoulder and asked cautiously, go find a gambler with chips and gamble with him, that would reduce the risk. Also, the Special Affairs Bureau just sent me a notification saying they've figured out a way out. It seems quite feasible, so I'm ready to give it a try. Ao-woo turned his head and whispered to the black cat Ali, little brother, wanna play a game? I have chips. A beautiful woman in a cheongsam with graceful bearing and stunning looks walked gracefully towards Ao-woo, waving the chips in her hand at him as she went. That's possible, but I need to say a few words to my friend first. After a moment's hesitation, Ao-woo could only stand helplessly among a group of strange gamblers dressed in a cheongsam beside Nicole. The woman, dressed in a style reminiscent of the Republican era, glanced at Ao-woo, then at Nico, and gave him a knowing look. All right, little brother, but you'd better hurry, I'm getting a little impatient, haha. The smiles of the beautiful women from the Republican era are full of allure and mystery, but Ao-woo seemed to have mastered the sunflower manual, remaining calm and completely ignoring her. Ao-woo strode over to Nicole and asked, are you currently a gambler or a casino employee? We were originally going to become gamblers, but a staff member wearing a long robe and a melon-shaped hat said that the bald boss had made Choi Ti-woo and me the lowest-ranking staff in the casino. He also told us that as long as we collected 100 chips, they would let us leave. Nico's face was streaked with helpless tears, making her look extremely pitiful. I can give you a chip, but do you know the hidden rules here? Let's exchange. Ao-woo whispered in her ear. Ao-woo's warm breath brushed against Nico's ear, making her cheeks flush even redder. After becoming a staff member at the gambling den, I learned more about its rules. We can exchange chips for information. Nico raised her head, her shy gaze meeting Ao Wu's. Netizen White Lotus, I didn't realize the Archmage was so good at flirting. Netizen Beautiful and Sassy Fairy, no man is any good, they're all scumbags. Netizen Lingzheng, brother Ao Wu, being a playboy is really tough. People are always looking for me, it's so annoying, so annoying. Scumbag, the rules of the strange livestream room is now flooded with posts about scumbags. Ao Wu, that scumbag, that playboy, even at a time like this he's still thinking about picking up girls, how despicable, how despicable. Take back the comment notifications, let him die, let him die. Enraged, Suu Kyi of the Special Affairs Bureau berated Ao Wu and vowed to teach him a lesson. Holy crap, why are you getting so worked up over someone flirting with a girl? Is jealousy making you unrecognizable? I think I've suddenly realized something incredible. Lin Bufen's eyes lit up, his gossip-loving spirit burning brightly. But what he didn't notice at all was that Suu Kyi, whose eyes were glowing red, had already stood behind him. This is a hidden rule. At the start of the game, the house uses some means to control the outcome. However, there are patterns to follow. You need to observe the number of people betting. The more bets placed on an option, the higher the probability of losing and the lower the probability of winning. Conversely, the fewer bets placed on an option, the lower the probability of losing and the higher the probability of winning. For example, in a game of small versus big, 100 people bet on big and 50 people bet on small. If you were the banker, would you let the 50 people win or would you let all 100 people win? Of course, the side with the smaller bet should win. Ao Wu said this after thinking for a moment. You're absolutely right, I wasn't careful enough, let's start over. Nico's face was utterly embarrassed. She paused for a moment, then said again, you need to consider another scenario, which is the amount of chips. Naturally, the side with fewer chips should win, so you lose less and gain more. That's how Linglong Casino operates, they're always invincible, making money every time a game opens. Nico pushed up her round-framed glasses and said to Ao Wu with a serious expression. You mean you want me and that woman with the Republic of Daxia-style clothes to gamble privately using the gambling den's games, and then use hidden rules to win, in which case the first person to bet has an advantage? Ao Wu pondered for a moment before speaking. Bingo, you can let that beautiful woman with the Republic of Daxia style be the banker. That way you'll get the first bet, and with the first bet you'll have the upper hand. Wearing round-framed glasses, Nicole stretched out her fair hand and clenched it into a fist. That makes some sense, but would she really agree? Ao Wu asked with a puzzled look. I don't know, you'll have to ask her. Nicole shook her head with a wry smile. Ao Wu didn't waste any more time. He handed Nicole a chip and then turned to walk towards the beautiful woman with a Republic of Daxia style. What should we bet on? Ao Wu asked in a deep voice. Little brother, we'll bet on anything you decide. The beautiful woman, dressed in a style reminiscent of the Republican era, gently touched Ao Wu's chin with her fair fingers. Ao Wu thought for a moment. Then let's gamble with dice, see who's bigger, 1 chip for each win. Okay, do you have dice? The beautiful woman, dressed in a style reminiscent of the Republican era, looked at him with amusement. Isn't it there? Let's go with his, we'll make a bet on it privately. Ao Wu pointed at the middle-aged man shaking the dice cup on the blue gambling table. Okay, so are you guessing big or small? A beautiful woman dressed in a cheongsam in the style of the Republic of Daxia era said with a smile. Ao Wu's face showed a hint of surprise. He hadn't expected the other party to let him guess first, and he swallowed back the words that were about to come out. All right, that's straightforward enough. You truly are a heroine, then I'll guess. Big. After glancing at the gambling table, Ao Wu slowly said. At this moment, the gamblers next to the blue gambling table were frantically betting on small, and the chips on small were almost double those on big. Moreover, Ao Wu was still not convinced. He used the X-ray vision function of his reconnaissance glasses to see through the dice cup, and it was indeed big. All right, then I'll guess it's little. The alluring woman said nonchalantly, 123, place your bet now, 4, 5, 6, 15 points big. The middle-aged man lifted the dice cup, revealing the numbers 4, 5, and 6. The dealer made a fortune and the beautiful woman tossed a chip to Ao Wu. Little brother, I find you quite pleasing to the eye, so I won't be angry even if I lose. The beautiful woman winked at Ao Wu, which made him feel utterly overwhelmed. But he still quickly showered her with compliments, making the beautiful woman from the Republican era giggle. The middle-aged man at the blue gambling table shook the dice cup again, and after a moment the cup fell heavily to the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you prefer big or small, place your bets now. At the blue gaming table, gamblers were betting frantically on big, their chips piling up almost into a small mountain. Betting on small was incredibly rare, with only a handful of people betting. Ao Wu used his reconnaissance glasses to see that there were 2 dice stacked together in the dice cup. The 2 dice with visible numbers were both ones, the other one was unclear, but even if it was a 6, it was destined to be low. Thinking of this, Ao Wu said in a deep voice, "This time I bought a small." Upon hearing Ao Wu mention buying a child, the woman in the Republic of Daxia era style burst out laughing. "Ao Wu, this woman must be scared out of her wits seeing we're about to win, right, meow?" "I'm so proud of myself," said the black cat, Ali. Ao Wu looked puzzled as well. "What are you laughing at?" "Little brother, I was laughing at your naivety." The beautiful woman with a Republic era style stopped laughing and spoke softly. "Hee hee, remember what defeated you wasn't naivety, it was Wu Zai." Ao Wu sneered. "Damn it, don't make jokes at such a tense moment, okay?" Black Cat Ali looked at him with a disappointed expression. "Oh really? Then this round, I'm betting on a triple." The beautiful woman with a Republic era style stopped smiling and said in a cold voice. Upon hearing that the woman wanted to bet on the leopard, Ao Wu's expression changed. "Oh no, I overlooked a clue. 3 identical numbers in the game constitute a triple bet, which means the house wins all." Cold sweat instantly beaded on Ao Wu's forehead. But he kept reassuring himself, "The odds of getting a leopard are extremely low, like winning the lottery, so my chances of winning are even higher. Besides, as I just mentioned, we're betting on big or small. 3 ones are considered small, right? Anyway, winning or losing is just a matter of 1 chip and I still have a chance." Thinking of this, Ao Wu couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Just then, the dice cup was lifted over the blue gambling table. 1-1-1, a triple, the banker wins all. Upon hearing this, Ao Wu's smile instantly froze on his face. "Damn it, I actually ran into something with such a low probability of happening, I'm just so incredibly angry." Although he was unconvinced, Ao Wu still shamelessly said, "Beautiful lady, you lost. 3 ones is a small bet, give me your chips." "Little brother, I think you've got it wrong. This time you lost 3 times, which is 3 chips. The odds for a triple are at least 3 times. 3 ones are 3 times, 3 twos are 2x2x2, 8 times, 3 threes are 3x3x3, 27 times, and so on." The voice of the beautiful woman from the Republican era was no longer delicate and alluring, but had become icy cold, making Ao Wu feel as if he had fallen into an ice cave. "But we agreed on the rules before the bet, 1 chip for winning or losing. And I said it was a big or small bet, there was no 3 of a kind option. Logically, 3 ones should be considered small. I'm already being lenient by not asking you for chips and now you're asking me for 3, are you cheating by exploiting the rules?" Ao Wu's eyes blazed with fury as he angrily retorted. Seeing Ao Wu's anger, the beautiful woman in the style of the Republican era suddenly transformed into a desiccated corpse with shark-like teeth. She appeared behind Ao Wu in a flash, grabbed his neck, and then whispered in his ear, her withered head close to his ear. "You're right, but we're playing games at the Linglong Casino, specifically on the blue table, so we have to follow the Linglong Casino's rules. It's a normal game of guessing high or low. Based on your odds, 3 ones and a triple are exactly 3 chips. Also, a friendly reminder, if you cheat, there will be consequences." The beautiful woman, dressed in a style reminiscent of the Republican era, gave Ao Wu a sly smile. "Good grief, you guys tricked me. Rule 5, Rule 6, Rule 7, oh I see, I get it, this was all a setup against me from the start, right?" The anger on Ao Wu's face disappeared, replaced by a look of sudden realization. At the same time, the monster wearing a long robe and looking like a terrifying strange creature suddenly appeared beside Ao Wu, startling him. "Mr. Ao Wu, a bet is a bet, that's the rule of Linglong Casino. Ao Wu was so angry that he cursed loudly. You look like a monster, I'm speechless, you're all in cahoots conspiring against each other, I'm just a 200-month-old baby. How could you do this to me? Seeing the monster in a long robe who looked similar to the strange creature, closing in step by step, Ao Wu had no choice but to offer all his possessions to the mummified corpse with a Republican-era style. After putting away the chips, the mummified corpse with the style of the Republic of Daxia era released its grip on Ao Wu's neck. The mummified corpse, dressed in a style reminiscent of the Republic of Daxia era, walked up to Nico and handed her a chip. Nico silently reached out and took it. Nico, oh, I see, I understand. A look of understanding crossed Ao Wu's face. He simply stared at Nicole quietly while Nicole, being the enigmatic one, dared not meet his eyes. At the same time, the cold, mechanical voice announced something again, and it played on a loop. Survivor number 4, Ao Wu from Daxia, has run out of chips and is eliminated. With Ao Wu in dire straits, the global live stream of Rules of the Strange has exploded. Netizen, a butterfly, could the legendary archmage of the Rules of Strange Tales have fallen like this? It hurts so much. Netizen, no problem, does anyone have any bullet comment hints? Please help my brother, I'm begging you. Netizen, hee, you people have such warped values. A mentally ill murderer died in a bizarre legal system, shouldn't we all celebrate? Netizen, Mengma, do you know how many detours our country could have avoided with the advanced technology he obtained from the strange tales of Rules? As far as I know, even when he ventured into dangerous places facing near-death experiences, he never betrayed the country or handed over his advanced technology. Seeing Ao Wu in imminent danger, some rejoiced while others grieved. The American FBA. Austrian agents, the Elizabethan family of the United States, and Japanese ninjas, among other hostile forces, had already prepared a victory celebration. Inside the Daxia Special Affairs Bureau, however, the atmosphere was terrifyingly oppressive. The survival strategy we devised was wrong. How could it be? How could it be? We personally sent Ao Wu to his doom. Lin Bufin was completely stunned, standing there dumbfounded, muttering to himself. Suu Qi, with red eyes, kept pulling at Lin Bufin's hair, clearly having lost control of her emotions. Pug, you have to save him. Think of something, he's going to die. What could I do? If I could, I'd gladly die in his place. Lin Bufin said with a gloomy expression. Oh right, I'll go see the bureau chief, he's incredibly resourceful, he'll definitely have a way. Suu Qi's eyes were red and swollen with tears. She kicked open the door to Director Wang's office. Director Wang stared intently at the global live stream of the strange tales of the Rules on his computer screen, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Chief, please save him. He's run out of chips and he can only go to the red gambling table, which is certain death. Suu Qi shook Director Wang's shoulders frantically. I'm not a beverage you have to shake before drinking, I'm already dizzy, stop shaking me, Suu Qi. At least show some respect for your superior. And when Director Wang's intermittent voice came through, Suu Qi realized his lapse in composure. Chief, our guess about his escape route was wrong, we've pushed him into a desperate situation. Suu Qi looked at Director Wang with a face full of despair. Director Wang picked up a handkerchief from the table, wiped the sweat from his forehead and said calmly, You have to trust Comrade Ao Wu, he's a veteran of countless battles. He emerged unscathed from those 2 incredibly difficult rule-breaking events, even bringing out cutting-edge technology. I believe he'll definitely have a way this time. Look at him, he's not flustered at all in the live stream. It's you who's all panicked. What kind of behavior is that? Director Wang's voice grew louder and louder and his imposing manner immediately became apparent. Hearing Director Wang's explanation, Suu Qi's unease gradually subsided. She said apologetically, I'm sorry, Director Wang, I was too rash, I apologize. All right, worry makes you lose your temper. I won't punish you this time. Now get out. Director Wang sat upright in his chair, calmly waving his hand to indicate that Suu Qi could return to his post. After the permit was delivered, Director Wang picked up the teacup on the table and began to drink. But no one noticed that his hands were trembling uncontrollably and tea was splashing everywhere, but he couldn't actually drink it. The outside world is in chaos, and Ao Wu in the world of strange tales is not having an easy time either. At this moment, a mummified corpse dressed in a Chong Som in the style of the Republic of Daxia era, and a monster dressed in a long gown that looks similar to a strange species are flanking him from the left and right. It seems they want to kill him as soon as possible. Autumn Sack. Ao Wu stretched out his hands, stopping the approaching Republic-era mummified corpse and the strange monster in the long robe. These two were also somewhat bewildered by Ao Wu's antics. The two eerie creatures exchanged glances. Clearly they had no idea what Ao Wu was up to. "What are you doing?" "Oh, ouch." The strange monster in the long robe spoke in an unfriendly tone. "Chicken, you're too beautiful, what nonsense. You've led me astray." Actually, what I wanted to say was that I wanted to interact with you all as an ordinary person, but all I got in return was estrangement. Fine, I'm not pretending anymore. I'll lay my cards on the table. Actually, I'm the god of gamblers? Ao Wu struck a cool pose, and at the same time the god of gamblers' signature background music started playing on his phone. Holy crap, I can only give this outfit a 98, 8 out of 100 because you yourself have a 1-2 meow. Ao Wu's impressive display of power caught Black Cat Ali completely off guard. Not only that, but the two monsters, the Republic-era dried corpse and the strange creature, were also completely bewildered by him, standing there dumbfounded for a while. It took them quite a while to come to their senses. What brand of garbage bag is this kid? He can hold so much. I'll tear him to pieces later and let me fill a bunch too. The strange monster, dressed in a long robe, said with a sinister grin, "Whatever makes you happy." Before he could finish speaking, the mummified corpse in the style of the Republic of Daxia era had already teleported behind Ao Wu once again. "I'm going to the red gambling table to settle things with that bald guy." Ao Wu raised his right hand and said with a serious expression. At this moment, the female mummy in the style of the Republic of Daxia era and the strange creature in the long gown had two eerie claws that were only 0.1 centimeters away from Ao Wu, but they stopped abruptly because no one can break the rules. "Was it really necessary to make it so dramatic? You scared me half to death, meow." Black Cat Ali clutched his heart, looking pained as he spoke. "With such a cowardly attitude, how can you survive in this world, Ali?" Although Ao Wu was sharp-tongued, his trembling hands betrayed his true feelings. The female mummy transformed back into a beautiful woman, and the terrifying monster reverted to a middle-aged man in a long robe. The two of them led Ao Wu toward the red gambling table. As he passed by Nico, Ao Wu stopped in his tracks. "Nico, you weren't actually an employee of Linglong Casino at all. After you and Kim Ti-woo were killed, you just became a gambler there. The information you gave me was all false." Actually, as long as I agreed to gamble against that female ghost on Linglong Casino's projects, I was basically doomed. They would use all sorts of methods to make me lose, and you should have been the one to receive the chips as a reward. Maybe Rule 5 was wrong all along. It's trying to lure us into a trap. Ao Wu stared intently at Nico. "That's right, Ao Wu, I'm sorry, I had no choice." Nico lowered her head in shame. "No need for that. I made a fatal mistake and I must bear the consequences." Actually, based on Rules 6 and 7, the gamblers at Linglong Gambling House are dangerous and untrustworthy to the survivors. This was all a setup by you to win all my chips and force me to the red gambling table. Heh, in this round I didn't lose to the rules, I lost to human nature. Ao Wu chuckled self-deprecatingly. "Ao Wu." Nico raised her head and walked towards Ao Wu as if she wanted to say something to him, but Ao Wu ignored her and walked straight to the red gambling table. "Hey buddy, isn't it time? We should be able to make a bet." The scarred, burly man at the red gambling table wasn't surprised by Ao Wu's arrival. On the contrary, it seemed as if he had been waiting for him for a long time. "Who the hell are you? Do you think we're that close?" Ao Wu looked incredibly arrogant, his expression practically begging to be punched. No one had ever dared to speak so loudly to the scarred, bald demon at this level before. Ao Wu's audacious move completely stumped him. The scarred, burly man stood there, his face contorted in a grimace as if he'd swallowed a dead fly. The scarred, bald demon revealed his true form, grabbed Ao Wu by the neck and lifted him up. Ow woo, are we going to die? I don't want to die. I'm still young, there are so many kinds of dried fish I haven't tried yet, I won't die in peace, meow. The black cat Ali nestled on Ow woo's shoulder and burst into tears. Stop howling, you won't die, I promise. Baldy, I want to bet with you, spinning a bowl please, start the game. Ow woo's voice came out intermittently, HMPH, I'll let you live a little longer. Upon hearing the words please begin the game, the bald, scarred demon released his grip and returned to the dealer's seat at the red gambling table. You won, you get 3 chips back, you lost, I won't say the result, you should know, hey ha. The eerie laughter of the bald, scarred, burly man sent chills down Ow woo's spine. I understand the logic, now begin your performance. Ow woo extended his hand in a gesture of invitation. The bald, scarred, burly man had 3 bowls in front of him. He took out a copper coin and placed it under the middle bowl. Then, he once again used the hand speed he had accumulated over 500 years of being single, frantically switching the positions of the bowls. The speed was so fast that even the ghost gambler next to him couldn't see it. The bald boss is getting serious. That kid's dead meat, even we can't tell the difference at that speed, let alone him. Should we have a welcome ceremony for the new member later? Haha. The strange gamblers around him made sarcastic remarks, but Ow woo remained calm and composed. Ow woo, this guy's hand speed is so fast it's almost blurry and he's cheating too. We have no chance of winning, meow. Black Cat Ali looked dejected, completely unsure of what to expect. Cheat? I'm afraid he won't cheat. A mysterious smile appeared on Ow woo's face. Stop spinning, it's useless, I already know which bowl the coin is in. You're destined to lose, you bald guy. Ow woo leaned on the blood-stained red gambling table, a smile playing on his lips, and calmly delivered a sarcastic remark. HMPH, stop spreading alarmist rumors, you're about to die and you still won't behave. Although the bald, scarred, burly man appeared casual, a hint of seriousness still lingered on his face. A moment later, the bald, scarred, burly man stopped turning the bowl in his hand. Hey buddy, guess this is your last chance. The bald, burly man said in a sinister tone, Baldy, you finished spinning, I'll lift the bowl in a bit but you're not allowed to touch it again or you'll cheat. Ow woo thought for a moment and then said, okay, I promise. The bald, scarred, burly man readily agreed. I'll ask you one more time, Baldy, you definitely didn't cheat, right? Of course, the bald, scarred, burly man said with absolute certainty. Ow woo grabbed the bowl on the left and said, all right, I'm opening it now. There definitely aren't any coins in this bowl on the left. As soon as he finished speaking, Ow woo lifted the left bowl and sure enough it was empty, there were no copper coins inside. Hey kid, what are you doing? I was asking you to guess which bowl has the coin. The bald, scarred, burly man flew into a rage. Stop talking nonsense, I'm guessing right now, aren't I? Just tell me if I'm right or not. Ow woo grinned mischievously. Yes, that's right, you can't guess like that. Ow woo ignored the bald, scarred, burly man's verbal attempts to stop him and grabbed the bowl in the middle again. There are no copper coins in this bowl in the middle. After saying that, Ow woo lifted the middle bowl as well, and sure enough the copper coin was not in the middle bowl. At this moment, the surrounding gamblers erupted in excitement. Even Nicole and Kim Ti-woo stared wide-eyed, their faces filled with disbelief. You won just like that? That was too easy. No one has ever beaten Baldy the boss and you actually did it, kid. Damn, this kid's got some skills, I'd even like to become his apprentice. The surrounding gamblers looked on with a strange light of admiration. If it weren't for the bald, burly man's intimidating presence, several of them would have even knelt down and become his disciples. The bald, scarred, burly man's expression changed drastically upon seeing this. The copper coin should be in this bowl on the right. Should I lift it up and check, Mr. Baldy? Ow woo put his arm around the neck of the bald, scarred, burly man and whispered in his ear, no need. No need, you won, I'm a man of my word. A bald, scarred, burly man revealed an ugly smile, then reached out and took back the bowl on the far right. The scarred, bald man placed 3 chips in front of Ow woo, his earlier arrogance vanished. However, he clearly wasn't satisfied, his eyes darted around as if he were thinking of a way to get back at Ow woo. Ow woo ignored him and turned to leave. Ow woo, what's going on, is this bald guy cheating? Why don't you lift the lid on the third bowl? Meow. Seeing Ao Wu win, the black cat Ali beamed with joy, but a hint of confusion remained in its heart. You're right, that bald, scarred, burly man did cheat. Actually, there were no coins in those 3 bowls at all. He removed them using some special method while he was spinning the bowls. No matter which bowl I guessed had a coin, I would lose, so I did the opposite. As for why I didn't expose him, firstly, my mission isn't complete yet. Exposing him wouldn't allow me to complete my mission and might even introduce unnecessary complications. Secondly, it's related to my next move. Ao Wu spoke to Ali on his shoulder in a barely audible voice. Wonderful, as expected of my disciple, you have truly mastered my skills. Black Cat Ali nodded, seemingly understanding but not quite. Young man, time's almost up and you haven't collected all 6 chips yet. How about we play another round? Let's bet big this time. If you lose those 3 chips, your body and your soul are mine. If I lose, you get 10 chips. Also, let me tell you, these chips can be used in the real world too. Each chip represents 10 years of lifespan. The scarred, burly man's booming voice came from behind Ao Wu. Upon hearing this, Ao Wu paused, clearly tempted. You're not really going to gamble with this guy again, are you? He's not only cunning, he's a master cheater. We can't beat him, meow. Seeing Ao Wu's restless expression, the black cat Ali quickly spoke up to stop him. Ao Wu was bold yet meticulous, naturally possessing an adventurous spirit. Once he made up his mind, he would never easily change it. Even though the black cat Ali tried to persuade him, Ao Wu still stopped in his tracks. It seems I have no other choice. I can agree, but this time I have to decide the rules for the bet. The previous 2 times you set the rules, which really screwed me over. This time, at least let me get my revenge. After pondering for a moment, the bald, scarred, burly man agreed. Okay, I can agree to your terms, but it has to be on the red table. That's the rule, you should understand. Seeing the bald, scarred, burly man agree so readily, Ao Wu didn't delay any longer and nodded to indicate that he agreed. Seeing Ao Wu agree to return to the red gambling table to gamble with the bald, scarred, burly man again, it was as if a bombshell had been dropped on the global live stream of Rules of the Strange. A storm of emotions erupted, leaving everyone stunned and unable to calm down for a long time. Netizen Ace of Spades, the Archmage is indeed awesome. He defeated the bald, scarred, burly man at the red gambling table. But isn't it a bit too reckless of him to risk another bet against the evil and bizarre? Netizen Sheep, he's recklessly flirting with death, reveling in the thrill of death and fear. Netizen 888, perhaps he has truly found a way to survive at Linglong Casino and is now fearless. At this moment, there was a lot of discussion in the live stream and the chat was flooded with comments. When they saw Ao Wu out of danger, the people from the Special Affairs Bureau breathed a sigh of relief. But when they saw Ao Wu accept the death challenge from the bald, scarred devil once again, their relaxed mood turned into anxiety again. Ao Wu arrived at the red gambling table from which blood was continuously flowing. The eerie gamblers around him quickly made way for him. Hey buddy, you're here, you decide what we do this time. The bald, scarred, burly man stared intently at Ao Wu, trying to glean some clue from his face, but he failed. You ask what we're betting on? I haven't really seen many gambling games, so I don't know much about them. Let's play a simple little game instead. Ao Wu pulled over an empty chair and sat down. He slowly took off his shirt, placed his right arm on the red gambling table of the Linglong Casino and covered it with the shirt. Let's make something simple this time. How about we bet on how many fingers I have on my right hand? What do you say? Ao Wu looked at the bald, scarred, burly man with a wicked grin. Brother, you're a really interesting guy, I can't quite figure you out. Since you've made your bet, I can't back down, so I'll accept it. Like I said, a bet's a bet. The bald, scarred, burly man wore an expression of extreme excitement. In that case, let's begin. How many fingers are on my right hand, which is covered by my clothes? Ao Wu's wicked smile stirred a hint of apprehension in the scarred, burly man. Damn it, you brat, trying to play dirty with me, huh? I've seen through your strategy. You want to bet on your fingers? I just need to bet that you'll cut off your fingers to win, right? A fun way to cheat, but I think you watch too many TV dramas. You're still too green to play with me. A ruthless glint appeared on the bald, scarred, burly man's face. He merely gave a signal with his eyes, and the middle-aged man in the long robe and melon-shaped hat understood immediately. No one knows what tricks they used, but suddenly a mouth full of sharp fangs emerged from the red gambling table under the clothes. It bit off Ao Wu's entire right hand in one bite and then swallowed the severed hand. All of this happened so suddenly, thanks to Ao Wu's clothing concealing his movements. The strange gamblers around them couldn't see what was going on at all. They could only see large amounts of scarlet blood gushing out from under the clothes covering Ao Wu's arms. As his hand was severed, a sharp, intense pain shot through him. Ao Wu's face turned pale and he gritted his teeth, remaining silent. "Baldy, you're a despicable B*******. You actually ambushed me and ate my hand." Ao Wu glared angrily and shouted a question. Seeing Ao Wu's miserable state, the bald, scarred, burly man revealed a sinister smile. "Don't spout nonsense, you idiot. We were both outside the gambling table. There was absolutely no way we could have cheated. You say I ate your hand, where's the evidence? Besides, you covered your arm with your clothes. Who knows what's going on? I think you're staging this yourself, trying to frame me." You. Seeing the bald, scarred, burly man's shameless demeanor, Ao Wu was so angry he couldn't speak. "Kid, didn't you ask me to guess how many fingers you have on your right hand? Here's my answer: your right hand has no fingers at all." The bald, scarred, burly man leaned against the red gambling table and brought his head close to Ao Wu, who was pale and covered in sweat. "Are you sure? Of course. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and open it. I can't wait to reap your life and soul." "I can't wait to say it," the bald, scarred, burly man said impatiently. "All right then, the time to witness a miracle has come." A strange smile curved Ao Wu's lips. The bald, scarred, burly man who witnessed this felt a sense of unease. Ao Wu abruptly ripped off the clothes covering his hands, revealing his perfectly intact right hand. Not only that, he also made a very flamboyant gesture to the bald, scarred, burly man, a gesture that is universally recognized as friendly. "Sorry, bald guy. I have 5 fingers on my right hand, you lost." The bald, scarred, burly man's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. His face was filled with disbelief. "How is this possible? You cheated, you definitely cheated. I clearly ate your right hand." Enraged, the scarred strongman instantly transformed into a demon, becoming a terrifying monster with no skin, covered in blood and filled with crimson muscles. The monster roared to the sky and then swung its giant claw, as large as a fan, toward Ao Wu's head. At this critical moment, he was suddenly frozen in place by an invisible force, unable to move at all. "The rules! Oh no, I've broken the rule against cheating. I've lost the protection of Linglong Gambling House and now the rules are turning against me." The scarred, muscular man, now transformed into a skinned demon, thought with horror. Seeing the bald, scarred, burly man suffer the consequences of the rules, Ao Wu smiled sinisterly. "Oh no, this kid's up to no good." Seeing Ao Wu's malicious smile, the bald, scarred, burly man felt a bad premonition. "Young man, I was just joking. A bet's a bet. Here are 10 chips. Now hurry up and move on to the next level. A wise man doesn't fight a losing battle." The bald, scarred, muscular man who had transformed into a terrifying skinning demon instantly vanished, his fierce expression replaced by a fawning smile. He was truly a master of face-changing. "Don't even think about bribing me. Who wants your filthy money?" Ao Wu grabbed 10 chips from the red gambling table, stuffed them into his pocket, and then said with righteous indignation, "Listen everyone, he admitted to cheating. He attacked my hand, which was covered by my clothes, with some kind of monster. He broke the rule against cheating and we're just going to let him get away with it. If I hadn't been quick-witted and dodged it, I would be like you all, a puppet here. I suppose you were all fooled by his cheating and are now trapped here like walking corpses." Yes, that kid's right." There was a murmur of discussion below, with everyone echoing the sentiment. Only the bald, scarred, burly man's face turned extremely ugly. "You fools, don't listen to this kid, he's just trying to fool you." The bald, scarred, burly man roared angrily, but the strange, enraged gamblers completely ignored him. Ao Wu stretched out his hands and pressed them in the air, signaling everyone to be quiet. "Think about it, everyone. All the hard-earned money you put in to redeem yourselves has been swindled away by this guy through cheating. You're just tools for him to collect your chips. He'll never let you gather enough to escape this hellish cycle. He monopolizes all the wealth, enjoying a high and mighty, emperor-like treatment. He's a complete and utter liar, a ruthless capitalist who sucks the marrow from your bones. Ao Wu leaped onto the red gambling table, looking down from above and raising his arms to shout. In his impassioned speech, he relentlessly denounced the bald, scarred, burly man's numerous crimes and sinister intentions. Ao Wu's seductive speech immediately fueled the anger of the strange gamblers below. That bald guy really is up to no good, no wonder I always lose everything. It's been over 100 years and I still haven't accumulated enough chips to escape. I've suspected him of cheating for a long time, but I had no proof and I didn't dare to expose him because of his intimidation. Today, I'm going to rise up and fight back. That kid's right, not only did he cheat us out of all our chips, but we also have to endure the torment of a cycle of death from time to time. And that despicable demon is just there enjoying our painful struggles. That kid is absolutely right, I'm absolutely furious. At this moment, Kim Ti-woo and Nico, who had already become bizarre, were dumbfounded. Damn, if I had that kind of silver tongue back then, I wouldn't be single now. Kim Ti-woo stood there in the crowd, staring at Ao Wu, who was giving a passionate speech on the red gambling table with a look of admiration in his eyes. Nicole was equally shocked. Her throat tightened and she swallowed hard. This guy, is he trying to incite these people to revolt? Dear comrades, the glittering gambling den and the scarred strongman are the evils of capitalism. We must overthrow them, achieve financial freedom, and become masters of our own lives. Down with the evil capitalism, down with the evil capitalism. We want to achieve financial freedom and be our own masters. Ao Wu's impassioned speech fully stirred up the rebellious sentiments of these strange gamblers. My dear comrades, are kings and nobles born with a special destiny. Today, we rebel. Ao Wu raised his arms and shouted, and the strange gamblers responded with a thunderous roar. Are kings and nobles born with a special destiny? This is outrageous. This is outrageous. I've had enough of this endless cycle. Life is precious, love is more precious, but for freedom both can be sacrificed. For freedom today I'm rebelling. The nearly 100 strange gamblers revealed their terrifying true forms. They swarmed forward and a complete riot broke out. The bald, scarred, burly man, frozen in place by the backlash of the rules, was torn to shreds by the swarm of bizarre gamblers before he could even make a ripple. Still not satisfied, the bizarre gamblers turned their attention to the other casino staff. At this moment, the bizarre creature, dressed in a long robe and wearing a melon-shaped hat, was trembling with fear, but he still could not escape the fate of being torn apart. After all the gambling den staff were torn to pieces by this group of bizarre gamblers, they proceeded to vandalize, loot, and burn inside the Linglong gambling den. Even the bizarrely transformed Choi Ti-woo and Nico couldn't resist the temptation and joined the frenzy to grab the chips. Ao Wu looked at these strange gamblers who had revolted, and a cold smile appeared on his lips. Ao Wu became their commander, their faith, and their supreme god. The exquisite gambling den was completely destroyed, and the walls covered with eerie eye patterns suddenly began to show mosaic-like static. At the same time, cold, mechanical sounds began to echo throughout the exquisite gambling den. An unknown bug has occurred at Linglong Gambling House, and Ao Wu, the survivor who has cleared the level, will be teleported ahead of schedule. Seeing the gamblers, incited by Ao Wu, begin vandalizing, looting, and burning the Linglong Gambling House, the viewers in the Rules of Strange Tales livestream were completely in an uproar. Netizen Zeur, the Archmage is definitely a master lecturer. His smooth talk caused a bug in level 2. Awesome, Kratos. Netizen, a fly that slipped through the net of moral education. They revolted? That's hilarious. The Grand Magister has been oppressed by the strange rules for so long and finally couldn't hold back anymore and rose up in rebellion. Awesome. Netizen, Naruto. The Grand Magister weighs 100 Jin 50 caddies and 99 Jin 49 caddies is rebellious. Netizen, haha, the Grand Magus is truly showing off, giving me goosebumps. He truly deserves the title of show-off. Someone bring up my 40-meter-long sword, peel an apple for this show-off, and then put me on a high-voltage power line. I'm going to personally play Deng Feng Po for him. Inside the Special Affairs Bureau, watching Ao Wu's outrageous antics in the global live stream of Rules of the Strange they were watching, Suu Kyi and Lin Bufin were laughing so hard they could barely breathe. Haha, this guy is always so unpredictable. Suu Kyi wiped away the tears of laughter from the corners of her eyes with a tissue. This guy really knows how to apply what he's learned. He's really taken those theories from his predecessors and made them famous, spreading them all over the world. Lin Bufin rubbed his aching stomach from laughing and said to Suu Kyi beside him, "Ao Wu, you're really something. You completely fooled those guys, but speaking of which, how come your hand has grown back? I clearly saw you bleeding a lot, and that guy said your hand was eaten by the monster he sent, meow." The expression on Black Cat Ali's face changed from excitement to confusion. Was my title of Grand Archmage given for nothing? Ao Wu puffed out his chest and said with a proud expression, "You mean the title of the Archmage who can unleash 1,000,000,000 life-giving spells?" The Black Cat Ali looked at Ao Wu with a half-smile. "Nonsense, what kind of magic grants 1,000,000,000 lives? Don't slander me out of thin air. I'm talking about the title the Strange Tales of Rules gave me. Archmage, I can heal injuries with my lifespan. I just used 10 years of my lifespan to heal a severed hand. What a ripoff." Ao Wu blushed and stammered. Announcement: Survivor 4 Ao Wu from Daxia has collected 13 chips fulfilling the requirements for clearing the level. He is now teleported to level 3 of the death game. After the cold, emotionless mechanical voice finished broadcasting, a soft white light enveloped Ao Wu and then he disappeared into the chaotic Linglong gambling house. A second later, Ao Wu appeared in a dark, enclosed environment. Death Game Level 3, the Immortal Lab officially begins. Completion condition: escape the Immortality Laboratory. A cold, ruthless mechanical voice rang in Ao Wu's ears and was repeated 3 times. "Ao Wu, it's pitch black in here, it's really scary. What if some terrifying monster suddenly jumps out, meow?" The Black Cat Ali stood on Ao Wu's shoulder, trembling all over. Ao Wu was speechless after hearing this. "I thought you were immune after seeing so many demons and monsters, but I didn't expect you to still be so timid." "Stop talking nonsense, you idiot. King Ali is just reminding you to be careful of monsters attacking you in this dark environment." The Black Cat Ali, who had been called timid, was indignant and spoke up to defend himself. Ao Wu shook his head helplessly, then took out the flashlight he had obtained from clearing the Sunset Hotel ghost story from his magical pocket. Produced by Rules of the Strange, this is guaranteed to be a masterpiece. This flashlight shines farther and has a much wider beam range than any high-powered flashlight produced in the real world. Holding a flashlight, Ao Wu looked around in the darkness. It seemed that this was a bunker that had been sealed off for a long time. Judging from the furnishings, layout, and writings on the walls, as well as the scattered corpses, clothing, and weapons in the passageway, this should be an underground laboratory built by the Japanese during World War II. Ao Wu was currently at the entrance to the underground laboratory as he could see 2 enormous iron doors. The locks on the doors had been forcibly broken by someone and the doors were ajar. "This mission was so easy, just a lock." Ao Wu frowned, somewhat incredulous. "The door lock was broken. Who did it? Could it have been Sherry and Saito Shizuka, whom we haven't seen all along? Did they arrive before me, deduced a way out through various clues, and that the way out was behind the big iron gate? Then they found some tool to open the lock and escaped." Ao Wu was completely baffled, but he didn't rush out through the iron gate. Instead, he began searching for clues in the laboratory. He walked along the long corridor into the laboratory, and as he went deeper, strange noises could be heard from time to time. The eerie sound resembled the agonizing screams of some monster, amplifying its terrifying quality in the silent, oppressive underground laboratory. What exactly is this thing? What are they researching in this lab? At this moment, even the audacious Ao Wu couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine, cold sweat pouring down his face. The Black Cat Ali was even worse off, its fur already standing on end in fear, now fluffy like a ball of fluff. They hadn't gone far when a strange, desiccated corpse appeared, slumped on the ground in the passage. This startled Ao Wu, and he didn't dare go over for a long time. After observing for a while and finding nothing unusual, Ao Wu squatted down to examine the body slumped against the wall of the passageway. Due to the great age of the time, the clothes on the mummified corpse were rotten and decayed, but Ao Wu could still tell that the material of the clothes did not seem to be from the World War II era. This mummified corpse should be a woman. How strange. Has anyone else been here? Did other survivors fail to escape and die here? Ao Wu frowned as if he was deep in thought. But this corpse looks like it's been dead for a long time. It's practically dried out. Meow. The black cat Ali jumped off Ao Wu's shoulder, circled the corpse once, and then spoke to Ao Wu. I'm puzzled by this too, but what's even stranger is that this immortality lab hasn't released its rules yet. Are we supposed to find them ourselves? Unable to find any other useful clues, Ao Wu stood up and continued walking forward. The further he walked, the wider the space became, and many clearly defined areas appeared ahead. Ao Wu arrived at the office area, pushed open the door of an office, and found another mummified corpse inside. This corpse's death was even more peculiar. Its headless body sat upright in a chair while its head had rolled off the table in front of it. Its withered head, dark, hollow eyes, and eerie expression sent a chill down the spines of Ao Wu and the black cat Ali. Ao Wu, how did this guy die here? Did some unknown danger kill him? His death was so gruesome, maybe it was some kind of evil spirit. Let's hurry, it seems this place isn't safe after all. Meow. The black cat Ali looked at the desiccated corpse more and more, finding it increasingly eerie. It feared that the withered head that had rolled onto the desk might suddenly open its malevolent eyes and say, "Surprise, I'll eat you tonight. Wait a little longer, I've found some clues. This mummified corpse is male. Based on the wear and tear on his teeth and bone age, he's estimated to be between 20 and 25 years old and about 1.8 meters tall. His body fat percentage should be very low, suggesting he must have had considerable explosive power in life. His identity is unknown, but the remaining fragments of his clothing don't seem to belong to anyone who was originally in this underground laboratory. He's more like an outsider." Ao Wu muttered to himself as he observed the mummified corpse with its head moved. "This guy's about your age and height. He's probably one of the unlucky ones chosen by the rules of the strange tales. He must have encountered some terrible ordeal and been killed here." Black Cat Ali gave a somewhat perfunctory analysis. Ao Wu carefully examined the severed neck of the mummified corpse, then picked up the horrifying mummified head, looking at it again and again before finally saying with a puzzled expression, "No, he must have committed suicide. He was beheaded by something extremely sharp. Cutting off his own head, that's so bizarre, but this method of killing seems so familiar, like, hey, Ali, did you notice this mummified corpse's head looks like it's laughing?" Ao Wu lifted the shriveled head and held it directly in front of his own face, then revealed a sinister smile. "What the hell are you laughing at? Are you possessed by a ghost?" Amitabha, infinite heavenly venerable, hallelujah, mommy, may all armies march forward, great mighty heavenly dragon, demons and monsters, leave quickly, demons and monsters, leave quickly. Seeing Ao Wu's eerie smile, the black cat Ali was completely terrified. It stood on Ao Wu's shoulder, waving its arms and legs, muttering incantations, looking as serious as if it were performing an exorcism. Ao Wu was speechless. He put down the shriveled head and said helplessly, "What are you doing, you be *****D? You weren't possessed by a ghost? Then why did you give me that terrifying, eerie smile just now? Were you trying to scare me, your majesty?" Feeling humiliated, the black cat Ali began to interrogate Ao Wu. "I mean, this bizarre mummified corpse was smiling when it was alive, so much so that the smile froze on its face the moment it died. That's why it has this eerie expression. I was smiling because I was comparing the muscles. You know what, I feel like this mummified corpse probably looked a lot like me when it was alive. Could it be me?" Thinking of this, Ao Wu's expression changed drastically, filled with dread. He searched the mummified corpse thoroughly. After searching for a long time without finding anything, he felt relieved. "It's probably not me, just someone who looks a lot like me. This guy must have been very thin when he was alive, skin and bones. This is the shape of his skull, it's somewhat similar to mine. With this in mind, Ao Wu and the black cat Ali finally felt relieved. Ao Wu, there's something else on this table, it's just covered in dust but it looks like a diary. Under the beam of the flashlight, Ao Wu's eyes glowed with a faint green light. Sure enough, through the thick layer of dust he spotted a corner of a diary. Have the rules finally been released? With a nervous heart, Ao Wu stepped forward and swept all the dust aside. Sure enough, there was a yellowed diary in the dust. Ao Wu opened the diary and began to read it. The contents shocked him greatly. The owner of this diary was Masao Kishimoto, a company commander during World War II. He and his company were ordered to protect a secret underground laboratory. This secret underground laboratory was the Immortality Laboratory. February 17, 1945, a mysterious island off the coast of Daxia. My name is Masao Kishimoto. We are developing a drug that can grant immortality and infinite regeneration. But this is also the beginning of a nightmare, so I decided to record it all. The story begins in March 1943. One day that month, we accidentally discovered a mysterious island off the coast of Daxia. The island's inhabitants wore clothing very different from those of the Huxia on the mainland. The islanders were much more primitive and backward. We conquered the area effortlessly, slaughtering all the islanders. While pursuing the remaining survivors, we inadvertently stumbled upon a vast underground tomb. This underground tomb is enormous, and it was the precursor to the secret laboratory for immortality. It may seem unbelievable, but it is indeed true. We suffered heavy casualties before we finally wiped out the remaining rebels. It wasn't because their weapons and equipment were superior or their military skills were particularly outstanding. Rather, it was because this eerie underground tomb was simply too dangerous. When they executed the island's survivors, their leader hurled the most vicious curses at us. He said we had violated the sacred ground and would live in fear for eternity, unable to live or die. Who would believe such foolish talk? Looking back now, I realize how incredibly foolish I was. My wrong decision led hundreds of us into an abyss of no return. The exploration of this eerie and mysterious underground tomb is complete. During our journey, we encountered unpredictable traps, bizarre monsters that had lived for thousands of years, and much more. Although we suffered heavy casualties, those immortal monsters fell one after another to the guns of civilization. This eerie and mysterious underground tomb is filled with strange eye-shaped runes that, if stared at for too long, can cause hallucinations and even lead to self-destruction. Although we conquered the entire underground tomb, the harvest was not great. We found only a few artifacts. The most mysterious thing here was a huge bronze alchemy furnace. The bronze alchemy furnace was covered with inscriptions we couldn't understand. We opened the huge bronze alchemy furnace and it was completely empty. However, on the back of the enormous bronze alchemy furnace, we discovered a huge black vortex. No one knows what lies on the other side of the black vortex. No matter how much stuff is thrown in or how many people enter, they all vanish without a trace, as if they disappeared into thin air. So at the time, this caused panic in my army. The soldiers believed that behind the black vortex lay the deepest hell. At the time, I thought this was nonsense and punished them severely, so no one dared to mention it again. This enormous black vortex was extremely strange. It seemed to be eroding the surrounding stone walls and soil. However, this process was incredibly slow. Later, our experts estimated that the black vortex would only advance 1 centimeter every few decades, which put our minds at ease. Just as we were preparing to seal the tomb for future research, our accompanying military dog licked the stone wall eroded by the black vortex. This marked the beginning of a nightmare. The once well-behaved military dog licked the stone wall corroded by the black vortex, then went berserk and began attacking our soldiers. Several were bitten to death or wounded, and I ordered the guns to be opened fire. But it seemed oblivious to the pain, remaining incredibly fierce despite being shot multiple times. During our struggle, its entire body underwent mutations, its size increased continuously and its muscles became even stronger. It even grew tentacles covered in barbs. We used grenades, Type 11 light machine guns, and grenade launchers to suppress it. Half of its body had been blown off and a third of its head was gone, but this military dog is still alive. Although he has lost the ability to move, his cells are constantly regenerating and his injuries are constantly healing. It is believed that he will be fully recovered in a short time. Our soldiers blasted its head apart with a light machine gun before it finally stopped moving. Strangely, its cells continued to divide and its injuries were still healing. Left with no other choice, I called in a flamethrower soldier who used a flamethrower to completely incinerate the military dog's body, thus eliminating it. I ordered everyone not to touch the eroded stone walls and land beside the black vortex. The matter was then reported to the Army headquarters, and the highest-ranking officer in the Army headquarters reported it to the Emperor. To be honest, this is the thing I regret most. And that's how our nightmare began. The highest-ranking officer of the Army headquarters conveyed the Emperor's order, and this matter was classified as top secret. At the same time, we were instructed to encrypt communications. The Army headquarters dispatched a top-level research team from the mainland and secretly transported a group of prisoners of war and a large amount of supplies. We secretly built an experimental base based on an underground tomb. The scientists named it the Immortality Laboratory. They deduced that this was an ancient place where elixirs of immortality were made, and the main ingredient of the elixir was something from the black vortex. No, more precisely, something that had been corrupted by the black vortex. As for whether the elixir of immortality was successfully refined, that remains unknown, but I suspect it was not. I know what those high-ups are thinking. They want to research elixirs of immortality to achieve eternal life. And incidentally, they want to use these substances corrupted by the black vortex to create massive numbers of controllable super-undead warriors and then conquer the world. Back then, I was brainwashed by fanatical militarism, still fantasizing about a great Japanese empire dominating the world. Looking back now, it's truly laughable. How could mortals like us possibly control such forbidden power? Because of the existing underground tomb, the construction of this immortality laboratory proceeded smoothly and quickly. Once completed, these prisoners of war were transformed into Marutas, becoming our best experimental subjects. This experiment was terrifying and uncontrollable. The subjects frequently went berserk. We suffered heavy casualties, but fortunately the situation was still under control, and for this reason I received additional reinforcements. As time went on, the research team made a significant breakthrough. They developed the first generation of immortality elixir. After the test subjects consumed the first generation of immortality elixir, although their bodies still underwent terrible mutations, going berserk and falling into endless killing, they miraculously regained a sliver of their sanity after a period of time. This also resulted in heavy casualties for us. An intelligent, hateful, and super-undead warrior was extremely difficult to deal with. It took us a great deal of effort to eliminate it. Therefore, we will be extremely cautious in our future experiments. The new elixir of immortality will no longer use prisoners of war who harbor hatred towards us. Instead, we will choose the most loyal soldiers in our ranks to the Emperor as our test subjects. Prisoners of war will only be used to test the properties of substances corroded by the black vortex. In early 1945, Japan's ally, Germany, was in dire straits. Our country was also suffering successive defeats in the war, and the powerful United States made the military high command sense a sense of danger. Rumors were quietly spreading that the great Japanese empire, fighting on multiple fronts, might be defeated. The military ordered us to accelerate our research into elixirs of immortality and controllable super-undead soldiers. Although the elixir of immortality has been updated to the third generation, it still causes mutations in people, and these mutations are extremely uncontrollable. With the war intensifying, in order to evade reconnaissance by Allied and Huxia military aircraft, I moved everyone to the underground immortality laboratory. I have already built a semi-permanent underground fortification here, easy to defend and difficult to attack, so the enemy will never be able to find it. On February 1, 1945, Dr. Junichi Watanabe went to the military headquarters to report on his duties, bringing with him the fourth generation of immortality elixir and some classified research materials. February 4, 1945. Today there was supposedly a special astronomical phenomenon, the alignment of 7 planets. In ancient times, this was said to signify a terrible calamity. That day I felt uneasy as if something bad was about to happen. My premonition proved to be very accurate. On that day, a seasoned soldier suddenly came to me in a panic. He said, "Sir, we can't get out of here, we're all going to die." After I slapped him twice to wake him up, the soldier named Hashimoto said to me with a terrified look, "After the gate opened, there was only endless layers of earth." The stairs that used to lead to the surface had disappeared. At that moment, I didn't realize the seriousness of the situation. I thought the passage had collapsed and buried the exit. When I arrived at the gate leading to the surface, my soldiers had been digging for a long time, even using explosives, but still hadn't found an exit. Just then, another soldier came to report that the scientists in the clerk's team had discovered that the black vortex deep inside the tomb had disappeared. I was shocked and ventured deeper into the Immortality Laboratory to investigate. Along the way, the research team's experiments completely shattered my worldview. A monster with 3 heads and 6 arms, a monster covered in eyes, a half-human, half-beast monster. They created many terrifying monsters from humans, including my soldiers and prisoners of war. They continuously injected these monsters with potent anesthetics every day, putting them into a deep sleep. I strongly demanded the elimination of these destabilizing factors, but the research teams claimed they had found a way to control them and were about to succeed in developing it. I arrived at the underground tomb and sure enough, the black vortex disappeared, leaving only the enormous bronze alchemy furnace. The second and third days were the same. I realized that things were not simple. Although the supplies in the Immortality Laboratory were still relatively plentiful, an invisible fear was gradually eroding my battle-hardened soldiers. 8 or 9 days later, a soldier broke down and committed suicide. We still had enough food, but our water supply was running low. We did have a water supply system, but it suddenly stopped working. We have already cut off the water and food supplies to those prisoners of war. More and more of my subordinates are experiencing hallucinations. They say they see vengeful ghosts of the dead coming to claim their lives. I reprimanded them severely, accusing them of disrupting morale. But I knew they were telling the truth because I had also seen those evil spirits and I was filled with despair. They're all crazy, they've all gone crazy, and I'm going crazy too. Just yesterday, those prisoners of war, for some unknown reason, underwent a terrible mutation. They turned into those ferocious, bloodthirsty monsters and launched an attack on us. We were forced to retreat in defeat, and our research team was almost completely wiped out. Fortunately, we managed to bring their research results out with us. The surviving scientists told me with fervor that they had succeeded completely, finally developing the elixir of immortality, but there was only one. After a person ingested it, no mutations would occur. Furthermore, they would gain supernatural abilities and become immortal. He told me to retrieve those research materials so that the immortality drug could be mass-produced, but the monsters they had anesthetized and controlled were gradually awakening. He was dreaming. If I really did that, the only result would be the annihilation of our entire army. Most of these experimentally modified monsters joined the ranks of those slaughtering us. Only a few of the most resolute and loyal soldiers, after being transformed into monsters, retained a sliver of reason. They held off the monsters for us but were themselves torn to shreds. Today, most of the immortality experiment base has fallen. We blew up the passageway and held our ground in the camp. We lacked food and water, had no way to retreat, and received no reinforcements. In such a depressing environment, more and more people are saying they've seen vengeful spirits. They say the black vortex is the gate to hell, that we've opened Pandora's box and released demons. Several of my subordinates committed suicide by shooting themselves today. Meanwhile, in the Strange Tales of Rules livestream room, this diary entry caused a huge uproar. People from all over the world were filled with righteous indignation, denouncing the barbarity and cruelty of Japanese imperialism. Netizen, fearless vanguard, damn little b*******d, the national and personal vendettas will never be forgot. Netizen, horse trampling Tokyo to enjoy cherry blossoms, The brutality and atrocities of the Japanese devils are beyond description. Their blood debts must be repaid. When the red flag flies high across the land, we will trample Tokyo to enjoy the cherry blossoms. Netizen, I love candy. The pain inflicted on us by Japanese imperialism is something time can hardly erase. If I had superpowers, I would sink that island. Netizen, Akamura Jiro, you're talking nonsense. Our Japanese empire never did these atrocities. We did it to establish the Greater East Asia co-prosperity sphere. Netizen, dream, utter nonsense. The countries you've harmed all have evidence of your numerous crimes, yet you still dare not admit it. What a despicable nation. The United States, should have launched 10 nuclear missiles back then to completely destroy the island. I think Gao Liguo should also launch one as a token gesture. It's not unreasonable for Daxia to launch 100 of them. A secret base in Japan. Damn it, the current public opinion is severely damaging our country's image. But why was the immortality plan leaked? It's a top secret that's been sealed away for ages. How did the rule of strange tales know about it? Is he omniscient and omnipotent? A high-ranking Japanese official watching the live stream said with a look of horror. Inside the secret meeting room of the Daxia Special Affairs Bureau, the black vortex on the nameless island in the East Daxia Sea actually hides such a secret. This is something we didn't expect. We must immediately use advanced technology to seal off the nameless island to prevent any malicious individuals from targeting the black vortex again. Director Wang spoke to the agents of the Special Affairs Bureau with a serious expression. Suddenly, Ao Wu stopped reading from his diary because he heard a commotion outside the barracks. Knock, 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 knock. A series of hurried and chaotic footsteps approached from afar, causing Ao Wu's face to change color. Something's approaching very fast. There are probably 3 people, not 5. No, there are more behind. This is bad, meow. The black cat Ali perked up its ears on Ao Wu's shoulder. Ao Wu put away the yellowed diary and quietly approached the barracks door. Using the night vision of his black cat Ali, he peered through the crack in the door. The terrifying scene before him made his pupils shrink involuntarily. Outside, 2 women were being chased. One was a cool, aloof older woman and the other was a cute, innocent girl. Sherry and Shizuka Sato, I thought they escaped through the big iron gate, but behind them is… Holy crap, what a terrifying monster. Ao Wu was utterly shocked. The monsters chasing them had long since lost their human form. Some were covered in slime, resembling aliens from the movies. Others had transformed into fleshy growths covered in barbed tentacles with mutated giant legs beneath them. Still others had thin, wiry limbs, moved with lightning speed, and were covered in crimson eyes. Leading the group was a tall, thin figure resembling a desiccated corpse. He was hairless and bore a resemblance to Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Da-da-da-da, the bursts of firelight illuminated the terrified faces of Sato, Shizuka, and Sherry. The 2 fought and retreated, running towards the barracks where Ao Wu was behind them. Holy crap, where did that Sato Shizuka get her hands on a Type 96 machine gun? Meow! The black cat Ali let out a gasp. The situation is getting bad. We have to get out of here or we'll be trapped with nowhere to run. Ao Wu cursed his bad luck and had no choice but to sneak out of the barracks. You all have to die, you all have to die. A hoarse male voice came from behind Ao Wu. Upon hearing it, Ao Wu and the black cat Ali felt a chill run from the soles of their feet to the top of their heads. Ao Wu slowly turned his stiff neck and looked back. On the dusty table, a withered head with a sinister smile suddenly opened its eyes, revealing a pair of blood-red eyes. Its lips moved slightly, mechanically repeating the same phrase, "You all must die." Ao Wu, what did I tell you? This guy really is a terrifying evil spirit. It's all your fault for playing with his head earlier. You angered him and now he's come to claim our lives, meow, Black Cat Ali said with a look of terror on its face. I'm not talking to you anymore, I'm running away. Ao Wu opened the door and began to run for his life. At this moment, the hairless, mummy-like monster had caught up with Sherry and Sato Shizuka. Finally, he targeted Sato Shizuka. 6 or 7 barbed tentacles sprouted from his back, continuously extending until one wrapped around Sato Shizuka's waist, pulling her into the air and stopping her in front of the monster. You must die. I am helping you. You must die, otherwise endless suffering. The monster seemed to have lost its ability to speak, uttering a few incoherent words intermittently. Sorry, you're the one who's damned. Despite the danger, Sato Shizuka remained calm and frantically pulled the trigger of her Type 96 machine gun. The spitting fire severed the tentacles wrapped around her and simultaneously shattered a third of the head of the hairless, emaciated monster which resembled a dried-up corpse. Blood splattered everywhere and the monster's brain was already visible to the naked eye. Sato Shizuka appeared to be a trained fighter. She landed steadily with a one-handed backflip, then threw a grenade at the pursuing monsters. The violent explosion slowed their advance. Aowu, Sato Shizuka and Sherry used the explosion as cover to quickly run towards the exit of the Immortality Laboratory. The undead monsters pursued them relentlessly. Aowu, can we really escape? Didn't Kishimoto Masao's diary say that the exit disappeared? There are endless layers of earth outside. Are we destined to become undead monsters today? Meow. The black cat Ali sat on Aowu's shoulder, feeling sorry for itself. We can't worry about that now, we just need to live a little longer. Didn't Kishimoto Masao's diary say they dug a long tunnel through the endless layers of earth? Let's hide in that tunnel first and close the big iron gate. We'll figure out what to do after those undead monsters are gone. Aowu ran in the lead, followed by Shirley, and then Sato Shizuka ran at the very back. As Aowu ran past the mummified corpse he had encountered leaning against the wall, he felt as if the corpse had just moved. This made him quicken his pace. As Sherry ran, she used the shockwave gauntlet she had obtained from the rules of the uncanny to repel an undead monster that attacked her. As she passed the mummified corpse leaning against the wall, the corpse suddenly reached out a hand and grabbed her ankle tightly, causing Sherry to fall flat on her face. You all have to die, you all have to die, you all have to die. The desiccated corpse leaning against the wall moved its withered lips slightly, repeatedly uttering this vicious phrase. Ah, you damn thing, let me go, Sherry won't die, I'll live to the end. In a panic, Shirley kicked wildly and managed to break free from the mummified corpse's grasp. Without thinking twice, Shirley scrambled to her feet and ran. Luckily, this mummified corpse wasn't very strong, otherwise I would really be game over this time. Shirley thought to herself, still shaken as she ran. Just then, Shizuka Sato caught up. She threw away the unfired Type 96 machine gun and casually pulled a Type 38 rifle from her back. She pulled the bolt and aimed not at the immortal monster but at Sherry, who was running ahead of her. Every man for himself or the world will destroy him. Don't blame me, little girl. A cold glint flashed in Shizuka Sato's eyes hidden behind her black-rimmed glasses. But just as she pulled the trigger, Sherry, who was running ahead, seemed to sense something. She slid backward, dodging the incoming bullet. She then retaliated with a powerful shockwave which shattered the dome of the immortal lab, sending several large pieces of rubble crashing down. Sato Shizuka appears to be a cool and aloof urban woman, but she is exceptionally agile. Not only does she leap and dodge the falling rocks, but she also uses this opportunity to distance herself from those terrifying immortal monsters. Aowu, those two cunning little wench seem to be fighting. That little loli even did a super cool backflip slide tackle just now, so cool, meow. The black cat Ali, perched on Aowu's shoulder, became a spectator and commented on Shirley's cool backflip tackle. A backward sliding tackle, the kind that only uses up one knee over 100 meters, I thought that only happened in anime. Seeing the black cat Ali praising someone else, Aowu said sourly, jealousy can completely change a person. Black cat Ali looked helpless. Instead of wasting your time talking nonsense, can't you run errands for me for a bit? Aowu said with some dissatisfaction. Sorry, these immortal monsters are just too terrifying, my legs went weak and I really can't run, meow. The black cat Ali perched on Aowu's shoulder, feigning pitifulness. The two massive iron doors of the Immortal Life Laboratory were now almost within reach. Aowu hesitated for a moment before the half-open giant iron door but slowly pushed it open and plunged into the dark passage. Just a few breaths later, Sherry and Sato Shizuka followed closely behind, disappearing into the dark passage. Sato Shizuka even closed the two giant iron doors behind her. Then, a violent crashing sound rang out from the other side of the massive iron doors. The passage was unusually dark. Even with the flashlight Ao Wu obtained from the strange tales of rules, he couldn't see very far. People are most likely to feel fear in a depressing and dark environment. Ao Wu was no exception. He was currently sprinting forward as fast as he could. He didn't know how much time had passed when Ao Wu saw a rectangular exit ahead. There was light on the other side of the exit, a soft white light. Exit. Ao Wu, I see the exit. Keep going, victory is in sight, meow. Black Cat Ali beams with joy. After a series of strenuous exercises, Ao Wu was almost completely exhausted. He was panting heavily as if he was about to collapse at any moment. Shound, are you sure you can handle this? The Black Cat Ali transformed into a mental energy booster, constantly offering words of encouragement to him. This man can never say no. The exit, here I come. Ao Wu leaped towards the brightly lit exit. Sherry and Sato Shizuka followed closely behind. Having spent too long in the dark, the sudden appearance of light caused them to momentarily lose their sight. Not only that, but the source of the light source also emitted an extremely piercing noise. The piercing noise seemed to possess some magical power, instantly causing the three to lose consciousness. When Ao Wu, Zhu Li, and Sato Shizuka regained consciousness, they found themselves in a mysterious place. After looking around, they were all shocked. Then they pointed their weapons at each other and a tense atmosphere immediately filled the air. Aren't these the two big iron gates we just went through? What's going on? Did we run back here again? Sherry, with a look of confusion and fear on her face, spoke first. These two doors are the exit doors to the two immortality laboratories we encountered earlier, but they are not entirely. Ao Wu held up the ghost silk bracelet in one hand, keeping a watchful eye on the two, while using the other hand to shine a flashlight onto the two large iron gates leading to the exit. The two large iron gates we encountered earlier were rusty and dented, clearly showing the effects of time. These two exit gates, however, are relatively well preserved. They must have been installed within the last 2 years, but the surrounding environment is very similar to that immortality laboratory. Look at the ground, there's a body. Those are standard uniforms from the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II, and the scattered rifles are Type 38 rifles. Cause of death: suicide, time of death no more than 24 hours ago. The aloof, mature woman pointed to the corpses lying haphazardly on the ground and said, just as the group was cautiously testing each other, a piercing alarm sounded again. An alarm? What's going on? I suddenly have a bad feeling. Ao Wu gave a wry smile. Shizuka, Sato, and Sherry were also on high alert. Just then, several lines of text appeared before their eyes. Rule 1, survive to find the rules. This damned death game, now we have to find the rules ourselves? Find the rules amidst undead monsters and crazed soldiers. Are you kidding me? Sherry slammed her fist against the wall in frustration. Ao Wu and Sato Shizuka also looked grave. What are you afraid of, Ao Wu? Didn't we find Kishimoto Masao's diary? There should be rules in it. Even if there aren't any rules, there's still a lot of unknown information, meow. Black Cat Ali patted Ao Wu's head and said, your words are a wake-up call. Ali, you're not so useless after all. Ao Wu looked enlightened, then reached into his magical pocket. If you utter such nonsense again, I, the Great King, will scratch your face until it's bruised and battered. The Black Cat Ali extended its sharp claws, its face full of threat. Where's Kishimoto Masao's diary? It's gone. Could it be lost? That's impossible. That doesn't make sense. Ao Wu searched his magical pocket thoroughly but couldn't find even a trace of the diary. What do we do now, Ao Wu? Black Cat Ali is also somewhat at a loss. Go find the rules. After saying that, Ao Wu darted away like an arrow released from a bow. That crazy guy, Shirley pouted and whispered. Seeing Ao Wu leave in a hurry, Sato Shizuka raised her Type 38 rifle and aimed it at his back. Shirley stood to the side with her arms crossed, clearly watching the show. But just a second later, Shizuka Sato lowered the gun in her hand. Why not kill him? Sherry looked at Sato Shizuka with a half-smile. Sato Shizuka pushed up her black-rimmed glasses expressionlessly and said calmly, it's just testing the waters, let him be cannon fodder. My sister is so heartless and cruel, same to you. Sherry and Shizuka Sato were locked in a fierce battle, neither willing to give an inch. By this time, Ao Wu had already disappeared into the corridor of the underground laboratory. Seeing this, the two women disregarded their own fighting and quickly collected the guns and ammunition from the corpses before quietly following Ao Wu. But what happened next completely stunned them. After turning the corner, Ao Wu had vanished. This underground laboratory was converted from an unknown tomb, and it is extremely large and complex. The passage on the left leads to the soldiers' barracks and supply depot. The passage on the right leads to the laboratories and the prisons where experimental subjects are held. There are two passageways directly ahead. One leads to a huge bronze alchemy furnace. The other leads to the prison for prisoners of war. Sato Shizuka pushed up her black-rimmed glasses and said, as for why Sato Shizuka knew this, it was because she originally had a blueprint of the Immortal Lab. After clearing the game from the exquisite gambling house, Sato Shizuka was the first to be teleported into the Immortal Lab. She had ventured inside and found it on a mummified corpse leaning against the wall in the corridor. I'm going to the lab, where you go is up to you, just don't follow me or don't blame me for being impolite. After saying that, Sato Shizuka walked towards the corridor leading to the laboratory. After thinking for a moment, Shirley walked towards the passage leading to the left barracks. At this moment, Ao Wu was already inside the barracks. He had put on camouflage glasses and transformed into the appearance of the dead corpse in front of the large iron gate. The barracks of these Japanese soldiers were not safe either, as many soldiers with bloodshot eyes, vacant stares, and slight deformities roamed inside. These guys were similar to the zombies in zombie movies, except that zombies rot away, while these guys had undergone physical mutations. Fortunately, they still retained most of their human characteristics and weren't as crazed and bloodthirsty as described in Masa Kishimoto's diary. They were just wandering aimlessly around the military camp. Ao Wu emerged from his hiding place and tiptoed toward Kishimoto Masao's command post. The slightest footstep seemed to awaken the demons within these Japanese soldiers. They all turned around, staring intently at Ao Wu with their bloodshot eyes. Baka yaru yoshi huagu miao di hao. Ao Wu's broken Japanese, spoken with the air of a colonel, had no effect whatsoever. Instead, it seemed to ignite the fury of these monstrous, berserk creatures. Roar. A Japanese soldier's head split open into 3 pieces as if it had blossomed, each piece covered with fangs and sharp teeth. He roared at Ao Wu. The previously stunned Japanese soldiers, as if receiving a command, instantly charged towards Ao Wu. Ao Wu, run, meow. Ao Wu took off running with the undead monsters chasing after him. Just as they were about to catch up with him, the black cat Ali took over his body. Meow! After a piercing meow, Ao Wu's eyes instantly turned into ghastly green vertical pupils. Then, Ao Wu's speed suddenly increased dramatically. He leaped across rooftops and walls, constantly dodging the attacks of the strange monsters. Logically speaking, when Black Cat Ali controlled his body, his speed was simply unmatched by humans. However, these strange soldiers completely defied common sense. Their speed was comparable to his, and not only that, they also unleashed various bizarre attacks, forcing Ao Wu into a frantic state. A sharp, propelling weapon, corrosive acid, plasma balls. These immortal monsters even possess superpowers. Is this what they call super soldiers? If they were to actually develop a controllable elixir of immortality, the consequences would be unimaginable. At this moment, Ao Wu, who was watching from the sidelines, couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. Ao Wu, I can't take it anymore, meow. Ao Wu kept letting out mournful cat cries. The silk bracelet 100% sharp will cripple their legs. Ao Wu, in a state of enlightenment, spoke to the black cat Ali, who was controlling his body. The black cat Ali, who was controlling the body, instantly understood. With a flick of his wrist, the eerie threads from the eerie silk bracelet shot out. He used his mental power to control the threads to extend continuously, and then bound the undead monsters around the waist. With a slight exertion of his fingers, the undead monsters' hard bodies were cut in two as easily as tofu. Even after these immortal monsters fell to the ground, they continued to roar as they crawled toward Ao Wu. At the same time, the cells in their wounds rapidly divided, repairing their injuries. Kishimoto Masao's command post is just ahead. Go inside quickly and lock the door.